Zhao Tianming felt as if he had swallowed a fly the moment Yi Fan showed up. His good mood instantly vanished. He immediately instructed Liang Wenbo and the other two beside him. All three of you, contact the rest of our alliance right away. Get everyone to flood, fire in the chat channel, and drag Yi Fan through the mud. Liang Wenbo and the other two replied at once. Got it, Brother Ming. We'll get on it immediately. After a brief moment of silence, the regional chat channel descended into chaos once more. Upon receiving Zhao Tianming's orders, his lackeys launched a barrage of attacks against Yi Fan. Yanzu captain at Yi Fan, so you finally decided to show your face. I thought you'd hidden away like a coward. Can tolerate my greatness, captain at Yi Fan, wise up. Hand over all your supplies and secrets, or the Capital University Alliance won't go easy on you. Meanwhile, some players riled up by the commotion joined in, launching furious attacks on Yi Fan. Wave after wave of abusive messages scrolled non-stop across the chat feed. Seeing this scene, Zhao Tianming, whose mood had been ruined, felt some satisfaction return. He let out a cold snort. Yi Fan, what good does it do you to come out now? Where were you earlier? I hold complete sway over this chat channel. You showing up is nothing but asking for humiliation. Hardly had Zhao Tianming finished typing when Yi Fan's next message silenced the entire channel again. Yi Fan captain at everyone, all of you, shut your mouths. You want my supplies, don't you? Fine, I'll give you a lot of chance right now. My current coordinates are XXX. Anyone brave enough can come find me. I'll be waiting right here. If you don't have the guts, keep your foul mouth shut. Zhao Tianming, are you too spineless to show yourself? Or have you spent so long preying on female students from our university that you've lost your nerve? You send your underlings out to do your dirty work while you cower in the background, fanning the flames like a coward. How dare you use my name to build your so-called Capital University Alliance? Disgraceful. Zhao Tianming, weren't you going to rally everyone to hunt me down? I've posted my coordinates. Bring your lackeys and come get me if you dare. Yi Fan's message stunned players across the whole competition zone. No one had expected him to push back so fiercely against the mob ganging up on him. Most people had assumed that facing such overwhelming hostility, Yi Fan would give in, with the only question being how much ground he would yield. Instead, he had revealed his own coordinates and openly dared his attackers to come for him. Only a madman or someone utterly confident in their strength would dare such a move. Neither type was someone ordinary players wanted to provoke. Many opportunistic players thinking to profit from the conflict backed off, choosing to stay quiet and wait to see how events unfolded. Over on his raft, Zhao Tianming flew into a rage. Born into wealth, no one had ever spoken to him like this in his entire life. Blinded by fury, he shot back a reply. Sovereign of the world captain at Yi Fan, watch your tongue, Yi Fan. Everyone knows combat between fleets is disabled during the new player adaptation phase. Even if you post your coordinates, we can't touch you right now. But mark my words, once this phase ends, I will hunt you down. I will pass judgment on you on behalf of every player in this zone. Let's see how cocky you are then. As soon as the message went out, Zhao Tianming's lackeys showered him with praise while continuing to bad-mouth Yi Fan. It was not long before Yi Fan's third message arrived. Yi Fan captain at Sovereign of the World, don't flatter yourself, Zhao Tianming. Anyone with half a brain can see exactly what you are plotting. You want to use me as a stepping stone for your alliance. You stir up gullible players to fish for my coordinates so you can strike once the adaptation period is over, and then seize all my resources for yourself. Pass judgment on me in the name of every player? Who do you think you are? I also hear you've put a bounty on my head. Come on, tell me, how much is my location worth to you? His schemes laid bare for everyone to read. Zhao Tianming's face turned livid. He had no way to argue back, so he simply ordered his men to keep spamming insults. Players who had been whipped into joining the attack began to realize they had been used as pawns. They started bombarding Zhao Tianming with questions. Calm mind, captain at Sovereign of the World, Zhao Tianming. You said you'd reward anyone who leaks Yi Fan's coordinates with rich supplies. What exactly are those supplies, and how much? Young man in white crew at Sovereign of the World, yes. Give us actual numbers. Reading these demands, Zhao Tianming's expression darkened. Rich rewards meant different things to different players. To those who barely had anything, a few bottles of water and some bread might suffice. For more established players, that would not be nearly enough. That was why he had kept the bounty vague when announcing it, planning to give different people different payouts. Now his trick had backfired. Zhao Tianming stayed silent, refusing to answer. Then Yi Fan posted another message, one that left every player in the regional chat channel utterly shocked. Yi Fan captain at Sovereign of the World, you've gone quiet all of a sudden. Could it be you lack real strength? Did I hit the mark? You were the famous rich kid from Capital University, getting whatever you wanted back on campus. Why are you so helpless in this survival game? All right, I get it now. All your power came from your father, not from you at all. Now you are exposed for what you truly are. And you dare to lead this so-called Capital University Alliance and put bounties on others? All bark and no bite. Watch closely, and I will show you what real power looks like. Everyone in chat, listen up. Screenshot and save the names of those who insulted me most fiercely, those who declared they would join the Capital University Alliance, as well as Zhao Tianming and his sports department followers. I am issuing my own bounty on these people. When the new player adaptation phase ends, anyone who declares war and attacks their vessels, defeats their captains and crew, and provides valid proof will send me that proof via private message. After verification, 5 bottles of water or equivalent supplies for each ordinary crew member eliminated. 10 bottles of water or equivalent supplies for each ordinary captain eliminated. 20 bottles of water or equivalent supplies for every sports department follower of Zhao Tianming, captain or crew. For Zhao Tianming himself, 10 bottles of water or equivalent supplies for anyone who provides his coordinates. 50 bottles of water or equivalent supplies for anyone who kills him. 100 bottles of water or equivalent supplies, plus 1 tier 2 ship upgrade blueprint for anyone who captures him alive and brings him to me. Equivalent supplies include regular food, blueprints, even fresh fish. At the end of his message, Yi Fan attached a screenshot showing the details of the tier 2 ship upgrade blueprint. The entire regional chat channel fell dead silent. Every player was stunned by the power Yi Fan had displayed. Players worked hard to open wooden supply crates, and a single crate might yield at most 2 bottles of water plus some food. Yi Fan's lowest bounty started at 5 bottles. What was more, captains and crew sailed together on the same raft. Take down one ordinary ship belonging to the Capital University Alliance and eliminate its crew and captain, and you could earn up to 25 bottles of water or equivalent goods on top of whatever loot you plundered from the vessel itself. Take out one of Zhao Tianming's sports department lackeys, and you could earn as much as 80 bottles of water or equivalent supplies. 80 bottles of water. That was enough for a 4-person crew to live comfortably for at least a full week without needing to gather any resources. Capture Zhao Tianming alive, and the rewards would keep them going twice as long. No one doubted Yi Fan's ability to pay these bounties. The Tier 2 ship upgrade blueprint he had attached was proof enough, and it set off a huge stir. Angler never returns empty-handed, Captain. Good heavens, so this is what a Tier 2 ship upgrade blueprint looks like. Green quality. No wonder hardly anyone has looted one so far. Honestly, this bounty from Boss Yi Fan has me tempted. My raft is already upgraded to large size. I can gather materials for Tier 2, but the blueprint itself is impossible to find. Holding fate in hand, Captain at Angler never returns empty-handed. How could anyone not be tempted? With this blueprint, you could be the second person in our zone to unlock a Tier 2 ship. My raft is also large grade. Damn little bread, Captain. Wow, this is what a true powerhouse looks like. Forget food and water. A blueprint of this caliber is not something just anyone can throw around as a reward. Panic spread among some players in the channel. Stepped and dung crew at Yi Fan. Boss Yi Fan, I only insulted you because Zhao Tianming and his lackeys manipulated me. Please do not hold it against me. I apologize sincerely. Forgive me. Terrible game, Captain at Yi Fan. Yes, Boss Yi Fan. I was only joking when I said I would join Zhao Tianming's ridiculous alliance. Please do not take my words seriously. I retract everything I said and renounce Zhao Tianming completely. Spare me. Faced with Yi Fan's staggering bounty, ordinary players who had taken part in the harassment panicked. They messaged apologies, begged for mercy, and swore to cut all ties with Zhao Tianming. Reading these apologies, Yi Fan frowned. Thousands, even tens of thousands of people had attacked him in the chat channel. He could not realistically target every single one of them. Pushing such a large group into a corner would unite them against him, and his current strength could not stand up to such a coalition. An idea occurred to him. Yi Fan, Captain, at everyone, you all claim Zhao Tianming and his men manipulated you, and that you have seen the error of your ways. Fine, I will offer you a chance. Within 3 days after the end of the new player adaptation phase, defeat at least one of Zhao Tianming's sports department followers, and I will lift the bounty placed on you. If anyone manages to take down Zhao Tianming himself, not only will I cancel the bounty against you, all the promised rewards will still be yours. This message sparked yet another huge uproar across the regional chat channel. Yi Fan paid no further attention to the feed and exited the chat interface. He turned around to find Mu Xinyao, and Lu Ruming staring at him, eyes full of admiration. Yi Fan smiled at the two young women. What is with you two? Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming held him in complete awe. They had watched the regional chat unfold firsthand, witnessing thousands of players ganging up on one person. The overwhelming sense of helplessness, as reply after reply flooded in against a single voice, had felt as though the whole world was against them. Then Yi Fan had stepped in. First he had thrown down a bold challenge, intimidating most opportunistic onlookers. Next he had zeroed in on the root of the conflict, turning all pressure onto Zhao Tianming and his inner circle. With a few sharp retorts, he had goaded Zhao Tianming into losing his temper, until the man could no longer bring himself to reply. Finally, he had seized the initiative entirely, issuing a counter, bounty backed by overwhelming resources. Every step flowed smoothly, perfectly executed. The two girls had watched, amazed. Mu Xinyao spoke excitedly. Brother Fan, you are incredible. You stood against tens of thousands of people and won. Lu Ruming was equally fired up. So impressive. That scumbag Zhao Tianming did not dare say a word back to you. Overwhelmed with excitement, Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming crowded close beside Yi Fan, chattering non-stop. Yi Fan laughed at their enthusiasm. All right, calm down you two. Mu Xinyao looked up. Brother Fan, how did you stay so calm with so many people turning on you? Yi Fan shrugged. Most of them were just following the crowd. The real threat only came from a small group. Still, that was terrifying to watch, Lu Ruming said. We were so worried something bad would happen to you. Nothing is going to happen to me, Yi Fan reassured them. Now let us go tend to some chores aboard the raft. While Yi Fan, Mu Xinyao, and Lu Ruming attended to matters on their vessel, a very different mood hung over a large raft in another stretch of ocean. Zhao Tianming burned with unbridled rage. All his life, he had been the one bullying others. He had never been publicly humiliated like this. Not only had he lost face, there was now a death bounty hanging over his head. Lu Haibao, Su Zhihao, and Liang Wenba, sailing with him, wore grim expressions. Beneath their anger lay clear fear. Lu Haibao's face suddenly paled. He hurried over to Zhao Tianming. Brother Ming, bad news. Lao Lu just messaged me privately. The 4 people on his ship are quitting the Capital University Alliance entirely. He said we should not contact them again. Su Zhihao exclaimed in shock and anger upon hearing this. Are those 4 of them out of their minds? Don't they know that Yi Fan, that bastard, has put a bounty on everyone from our physical education department? Do they think that by quitting the alliance and turning their backs on Brother Ming, Yi Fan, that son of a bitch, will let them off the hook? Hearing this, Lu Haibao said with a hint of helplessness. That's exactly what I asked old Lu a moment ago. But old Lu said that sticking with Brother Ming is a dead end. Our best bet is to surrender directly to Yi Fan. He thinks Yi Fan might take pity on us, since we are all students of Imperial Capital University, and spare our lives. He even urged me to talk to Brother Ming and persuade him to surrender as well. Maybe then. Before Lu Haibao could finish speaking, Zhao Tianming, who had been simmering with rage beside them, burst into loud laughter. Ha ha, ha ha. Then he looked utterly calm as he spoke to Lu Haibao and the other 2. Go then. All of you can leave. If the 3 of you also want to surrender to Yi Fan, you are free to go. Just let me know in advance. Once the novice adaptation period ends, I will force you off this ship. The 3 men were shocked by his words. They had followed Zhao Tianming the longest, and knew his temper all too well. Though Zhao Tianming appeared calm, and even generous enough to let them depart, his anger had reached boiling point. He was on the verge of losing control. If any one of them dared to say they wanted to leave, Zhao Tianming would throw them overboard without hesitation. Lu Haibao and the other 2 immediately stepped forward to pledge their loyalty. Brother Ming, rest assured. I, Lu Haibao, know full well how to repay kindness. I will never forget everything you have done for me back at Imperial Capital University. I will stand by your side, even if it costs me my life. Su Zhihao spoke up next. Brother Ming, I've followed you for so long. You ought to know what kind of man I am. I will never betray you. So Yi Fan put out a bounty. So what? Why should we be afraid? With the combat power of the 4 of us, we can take on any player foolish enough to come after us. We'll kill anyone who comes for us, 1 or 2 at a time. I refuse to believe those fair, whether players would risk their lives just for supplies. Seeing their show of loyalty, a satisfied smile spread across Zhao Tianming's face. He called out, good brothers, then turned his gaze toward Liang Wenba. Adjusting his gold-rimmed glasses on the bridge of his nose, Liang Wenba spoke. Brother Ming, we haven't lost yet. Surprise flashed across Zhao Tianming's face. He pressed eagerly. Oh, what do you mean? Speak quickly, Wenba. Liang Wenba hurried to explain. Brother Ming, during the novice adaptation period, different ships cannot attack one another. So even though Yi Fan has issued a bounty against us, other players cannot strike at us right away. That gives us our chance to turn the tables. He paused for a moment. Growing impatient, Su Zhihao cut in. Old Liang, don't keep us in suspense at a time like this. What is this chance to reverse our fortunes? Spit it out. Noticing the confusion on Zhao Tianming's face, Liang Wenbo continued. Brother Ming, Yi Fan's bounty looks terrifying, as if everyone in this division is out to get us. But there is only one core of this conflict, Yi Fan himself. If we can find and eliminate Yi Fan the instant the novice adaptation period ends, all our troubles will vanish. Once the man offering the bounty is gone, why would those opportunistic players keep fighting us? His words lit up the eyes of Zhao Tianming and the other two. Wenbo, are you saying, this is my plan? Liang Wenbo went on. Brother Ming, stick to our original strategy. Contact our men right now. Tell them they must gather at our location by noon tomorrow. Then we will march out as a united force to hunt Yi Fan down. But you must lay out the stakes clearly for them. Most of our physical education department members are not cowards or fools like old Lu. They should understand we are all in the same boat. Only by uniting can we grasp a sliver of hope for survival. Offer them generous rewards as well. Promise that once we defeat Yi Fan, all seized supplies will be divided equally among the brothers. With this approach, almost no one will refuse you. And do not worry. Once you get hold of Yi Fan's secrets, those supplies will mean nothing. After we deal with Yi Fan, we can use this incident as justification to take down several players who dare to provoke us. We will establish our authority in the regional chat channel. With Yi Fan's secrets in your hands, Brother Ming, dominating this division will be well within reach. And you will reclaim every bit of your lost dignity. After hearing Liang Wenbo's thorough analysis, Lu Haibo and Su Zhihao looked overjoyed. Zhao Tianming burst out in elated laughter. Excellent, excellent, excellent. You are right, Wenbo. We haven't lost. We still have a chance to turn things around. I will start contacting everyone at once. But his expression twisted into a vicious snarl the next moment. He hissed through gritted teeth. Yi Fan, you bastard, just you wait. The humiliation I suffer today will be repaid 100-fold, 1,000-fold. While Zhao Tianming plotted for a desperate counterattack, Yi Fan had just finished playing a card game with Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumeng, the two renowned campus beauties. Inside the small wooden cabin on the ship, Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumeng lay on either side of Yi Fan, breathing heavily, faint hints of blush lingering on their fair cheeks. Sweat coated their bodies even though they had bathed 2 hours earlier, proof of how intense their card game had been. Yi Fan lay comfortably in the middle of the wooden bed. Once the two young women had caught their breath, he smiled and spoke. Xinyao, Rumeng, you two are sweating so much. Come on, let's go take another bath. Both young women rolled their eyes at him. They thought to themselves, you know perfectly well why we are sweating. Still, sticky and uncomfortable, they agreed. All right, Fan Ji. Yet as they tried to sit up, they found themselves drained of all strength, unable even to rise from the bed. Lu Rumeng spoke in a soft, reproachful tone. Fan Ji, it's all your fault. I don't have any strength left to get up. Beside her, Mu Xinyao also spoke in a coquettish voice. Fan Ji, I have no energy either. Can we wash later? Yi Fan chuckled and climbed out of bed. To their surprise, he lifted both of them into his arms and carried them out of the small cabin. Soon, the sound of cheerful laughter drifted over from where the three of them bathed. The next morning arrived quickly. Yi Fan woke first. When he opened his eyes, Mu Xinyao lay curled against him like a docile kitten, holding him tight. Behind him, Lu Rumeng clung to his back like an octopus. Yi Fan shifted to lie flat, and Lu Rumeng snuggled into his arms alongside Mu Xinyao. The two beauties remained fast asleep, worn out from the previous night. Not wanting to disturb them, Yi Fan opened his game interface and entered the regional chat channel. It was still early, so only a handful of players were online. They were still discussing the heated argument between Yi Fan and Zhao Tianming from the night before. Spring, brother, between Thai's crew. Did everyone see the big showdown last night between Boss Yi Fan and Zhao Tianming's crew? Gentle Fairy crew at Spring, brother, between Thai's dude. Are you running on 2G internet? Everyone in this division knows about it by now. Spring, brother, between Thai's crew. Boss Yi Fan is insane. He stood against thousands, all by himself. 1.8 meter, lowly crew at Spring, brother, between Thighs. That's because he's powerful. You could do the same if you had his strength. Gentle Fairy crew. Speaking of which, I looked last night. Zhao Tianming has quite a lot of men from the physical education department. If the bounty is 20 bottles of water per person, that would add up to thousands of bottles total. Do you think Yi Fan can actually afford to pay that? Spring brother, between, thighs crew. Whoa, that's a huge number. 1.8 meter, lowly crew. I doubt it. Even though Boss Yi Fan could offer something as rare as a tier 2 ship upgrade blueprint for the bounty, thousands of bottles of water or equivalent supplies is an outrageous amount. Gentle fairy crew, I agree. French, fry, bread captain, you're overthinking this. This is not a 1-for-all deal. Zhao Tianming's group will definitely band together. They are strong fighters. No ordinary player would dare hunt them down without assembling a large fleet. As players debated whether Yi Fan could honor his bounty promise, a new message from Yi Fan blew up the chat channel. Yi Fan captain at everyone, I am purchasing wooden supply crates. 1 crate in exchange for 1 kilogram of processed fresh fish flesh. Limited quantity, first come first served. Message me privately if interested. Excluding Zhao Tianming, his followers, and anyone who ganged up on me in the channel yesterday. The message caused an immediate uproar. Spring brother, between thighs crew, my goodness. Boss Yi Fan is unbelievably generous. 1 kilogram of fresh fish for 1 wooden supply crate. That's practically giving everyone free benefits. Tiny glutinous rice ball captain at Spring, brother, between, thighs 1 kilogram of fish doesn't sound like much. Spring, brother, between, thighs crew at Tiny glutinous rice ball you have no clue. He specified processed fresh fish flesh. A regular fish only yields 50 to 60% edible meat. 1 kilogram of pure flesh comes from a fish weighing nearly 2 kilograms. And fresh meat is worth infinitely more than bread or biscuits you get out of wooden crates. Angler, never, goes, home captain. Wow, how high level is Boss Yi Fan's fishing rod? Has he caught so many fish he doesn't know what to do with them? Spring brother, between, thighs crew at angler, never, goes, home bro angler. I remember you got a white, quality fishing rod blueprint from AB tier novice supply crate at the start of the game. How has your catch been these past few days? Angler, never, goes, home captain at Spring, brother, between, thighs ugh, don't even ask. Since the game began, I've only reeled in 2 small fish under 1.5 kilograms each. I originally planned to trade them for other supplies, but my crewmates wanted to taste in-game fish. We cooked one into fish soup. It tasted absolutely amazing. Before we knew it, we ate the second one too. That's why I'm asking how upgraded Yi Fan's rod is, for him to have more fish than he can eat. French, fry, bread captain. Wait a second. Fishing rods can be upgraded? Angler, never, goes, home captain, absolutely. My basic rod has no bonuses at all. Upgraded rods must grant perks. I'm certain Boss Yi Fan has a highly upgraded fishing rod. French, fry, bread captain, why haven't you upgraded yours then? Angler, never, goes, home captain, I wish I could. The material cost is ridiculous. Just to reach level 2 requires 5 wood, 5 silk thread, 5 metal fragments, and 5 plastic pieces. French, fry, bread captain, good grief. That costs more materials than upgrading a medium raft to a large one. Cute, little, sweetheart crew at angler, never, goes. Home, is that fish soup really that delicious? Angler, never, goes. Home captain, let me put it this way. Back in the real world, fish of that quality would easily cost hundreds of yuan per kilogram. And Boss Yi Fan's fish, caught with a high-tier rod, must be even better. Cute, little sweetheart crew. Wah, now I really want to try some. With Angler Never Goes, Home's first-hand account, the whole regional chat channel erupted. Loves, 36D captain at Yi Fan Boss Yi Fan. I want to trade. I have wooden supply crates I just collected. Invincible, big, Hegemon captain. Ugh, if you'd only said this sooner. I just opened my crates and got not even a single bottle of water. What a loss. Riding, pig, on, highway captain, Boss Yi Fan. Can I place a pre-order? I'll go gather crates right now. Yi Fan's private message inbox began flashing non-stop. Trading ordinary fish flesh for wooden crates was no mere show-off stunt. First of all, he had caught rare fish. After tasting rare fish at dinner the previous night, ordinary fish flesh meant nothing to him. What counted as precious food for other players was useless to him, only taking up inventory space. Second, he had run out of supply crates to trigger system critical roll bonuses. To get more, he would otherwise have to sail all over the ocean searching for low-tier wooden crates, wasting valuable time. Buying crates from other players was far more efficient. Last but not least, it demonstrated his strength publicly. This would give players incentive to hunt Zhao Tianming and his gang once the novice adaptation period concluded. Yifan opened the first private message from the captain named Loves, 36D. After confirming the trade terms, he sent a trade request. Loves, 36D accepted instantly. Yifan placed 1 kilogram of fresh ordinary fish flesh in the trade slot. His trade partner put in 1 wooden supply crate. Both sides confirmed the trade. A mechanical game notification sounded. Ding. Trade successful with Loves, 36D captain. Obtained wooden supply, crate ×1. Loves, 36D sent a private thank you note, which Yifan glanced at and closed before moving on to the next trade. Right after receiving his kilogram of fish flesh, Loves, 36D showed off in the regional chat channel. Loves, 36D captain. Huh? I just finished trading with Boss Yifan. The fish from Boss Yifan truly lives up to its reputation. The flesh is bright and fresh, barely smelling of fish at all. Top. Great stuff for sure. Back in the real world, this would easily cost hundreds of yuan per kilogram. Enough chatting. I'm going to stew this for lunch. He attached screenshots of the fish flesh to his message. Chat channel excitement surged even higher. Countless players messaged Yifan, begging him not to finish all trades immediately so they could go gather crates. Yifan paid them no mind. Soon he traded away all his ordinary fish flesh, gaining 28 wooden supply crates in total. He posted an announcement in the regional chat channel. Yifan captain, at everyone, this round of wooden supply crate purchases has concluded. Those who missed out should not be discouraged. I will open further purchase opportunities at irregular times in the future. As soon as the message popped up, the entire regional chat channel was filled with lamentations. Many players who had just picked up wooden supply crates cried out that they had arrived too late and had suffered huge losses. Meanwhile, numerous players who had obtained fish meat began showing off in the chat channel. After sending the message, Yifan directly exited the game interface. He then saw Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumling. Their eyes closed, yet their expressions looked somewhat stiff. Seeing their state, Yifan knew full well that the 2 girls were awake but pretending to be asleep. He gave each of them a light pat on the hip and grinned. The sun is already high in the sky. Let me see which little sleepyheads are still feigning sleep. Whoever gets caught will have to face my punishment right now. At those words, Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumling instantly opened their eyes, trying to sit up. But Yifan was quick-handed. He grabbed both girls and pulled them into his arms. Got 2 little sleepyheads pretending to be asleep. Now tell me, how should I punish you two? Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumling let out soft sounds of protest and began making excuses. Fan. Gee, we weren't pretending to sleep. You woke us up. That doesn't count. Sister Mu is right. Fan G, you're the one who woke me too. Yifan paid their excuses no mind. He drew closer to them with a mischievous smile. That's not for you to decide. Since you won't say, I'll come up with my own punishment. Before the 2 school beauties could react, Yifan pulled them into some casual morning time activities. More than an hour later, Yifan got out of bed feeling refreshed and dressed himself. He set 2 bottles of mineral water in front of Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumling and smiled. Xinyao, Rumling, drink some water and rest for a bit. We'll go have breakfast outside shortly. Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumling took the water weakly, their voices hoarse. All right, Fan G. Yifan gave each of the 2 girls a light kiss on the cheek before walking out of the small wooden cabin. Outside, he took care of his personal hygiene. He then walked over to the medium-sized seawater desalination device and used the desalinated water to wash up. Once finished, he went to the dining table, took out milk, orange juice, bread, ham sausages, and other simple food, and began his breakfast. He was nearly done eating when Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumling finally pushed open the wooden door and stepped out of the cabin, their steps unsteady. Yifan smiled when he saw them. Go wash yourselves up first, then come over for breakfast. Their earlier activities had drained a good deal of their energy. Spotting the food laid out on the table, both girls swallowed hard and replied happily. Okay, Fan G. I'll go right away, Xinyao/Rumling. Before long, Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumling finished washing up and sat down at the table to eat. After only a couple of bites, Mu Xinyao looked up at Yifan. Fan G, are we going to keep opening crates today? Hearing this, Lu Rumling paused mid-chew and stared at Yifan expectantly. Yifan nodded. Yes, you two will keep opening crates later. But today there should only be wooden supply crates available. Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumling showed no trace of doubt, their faces lighting up with excitement. Great, more crates to open. Fan G is amazing. Opening crates is even more fun than unpacking packages used to be. Thanks to last night's efforts, Lu Rumling's obedience had risen by 2 points, breaking past the 90 point threshold to reach 91 points. This meant that Lu Rumeng, the shrewd school beauty, would never betray him under any circumstances from now on. That was why, just like Mu Xinyao, she felt perfectly fine about only opening wooden crates today. Having finished breakfast, Yi Fan silently spoke in his mind. System, trigger a critical strike on wooden supply crate white. A crisp system prompt echoed inside his head. Ding. Detected item eligible for normal critical strike. Current critical strike multiplier, 400 times. After critical strike, you will obtain times 400 wooden supply crate white. Do you wish to proceed? Yi Fan chose yes at once. Ding. Critical strike successful. Congratulations, you have obtained times 400 wooden supply crate white. Crates have been placed into your game backpack. Please check. Without pausing, Yi Fan spoke again in his mind. System, trigger a critical strike on wooden supply crate white. The system voice sounded once more, and another 400 wooden supply crates appeared inside his game backpack. Then Yi Fan stopped. He could only use normal critical strike ability 3 times per day, and he had just used 2 charges. He decided to hold on to the remaining one, waiting to see if any unexpected opportunities would arise throughout the day. If nothing happened, he could use the last charge before midnight. While Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumeng were still eating breakfast, Yi Fan began taking the newly struck wooden crates out of his game backpack and placing them on the boat. Seeing this, Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumeng quickened their pace eating. Yi Fan shook his head slightly. Xinyao, Rumeng, take your time. There is no rush opening crates. Though they agreed verbally, the 2 girls finished their breakfast in short order. They tidied the table quickly and threw themselves excitedly into opening the supply crates. Yi Fan thought to himself, it seems they really do love opening crates. Once all the critically struck wooden crates had been brought out, Yi Fan walked over to the cleaned-up table. He pulled the 2 red quality blueprints from the bronze crates last night out of his game backpack. Small, scale engine schematic red and weapon schematic, compound crossbow red. The day before, Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumeng had finished opening all 400 bronze supply crates. This had greatly replenished the stock of various materials inside Yi Fan's backpack. With the 2 red quality blueprints in hand, Yi Fan opened the game crafting interface. Moments later, the mechanical game voice resounded in his mind. Ding. Congratulations. You have successfully crafted small scale engine. Item added to game backpack. Ding. Congratulations. You have successfully crafted compound crossbow. Item added to game backpack. Yi Fan got up and walked toward the stern of the boat. He opened his backpack and took out the small scale engine. Item. Small scale engine durability. 200/200 quality. Red effects. 1. May be installed on level 3 or higher vessels to provide propulsion. Requires diesel fuel for operation. 1 unit of diesel fuels 1 hour of runtime. Maximum fuel capacity, 10 units of diesel. Reading the stats, Yi Fan muttered in surprise. This engine can't be fitted to vessels below level 3. Luckily, I upgraded this ship to level 3. He installed the small scale engine and poured in 10 units of diesel. Everything set. He pressed the start button. A loud rumble erupted. Foam and spray churned across the sea behind the stern. Before Yi Fan could steady himself, the boat surged forward like a runaway horse, nearly knocking him off his feet. At the same time, 2 thuds came from the front of the boat, followed by 2 screams. It was Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumeng. They had been sitting happily opening crates when the boat lurched from standstill to high speed, throwing them onto the deck. Shocked, they forgot their pain and screamed. The 2 girls, who usually bickered, clung tightly to each other. After a short while, the speeding boat slowed and came to a full halt. Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumeng saw Yi Fan walking toward them from the stern, looking thrilled. Relieved, they scrambled to their feet and threw themselves into his arms. Still shaken, they spoke. Fan Ji, what just happened? You scared me half to death. Yes, Fan Ji. Why did the boat suddenly move on its own? Seeing how frightened they were, Yi Fan explained. I fitted a small engine on the boat and was just testing it out. Are you 2 all right? Once they understood, they relaxed and looked at him pitifully. Fan Ji, I fell and hurt my hips. Me too, Fan Ji. It really hurts. Yi Fan grinned. Is that so? Let me take a look and help you feel better. He reached toward their hips. Both girls' faces flushed bright red. Mu Xinyao protested softly. Fan Ji, it's broad daylight. Lu Rumeng tried to divert him. Fan Ji, there are still lots of crates left to open. Sister Mu and I should get back to work right now. Yi Fan smiled mischievously. Xinyao, Rumeng, that can wait. It was my fault. I didn't expect you would get hurt from the jolt. I ought to make sure you're feeling properly looked after. Some time passed. Mu Xingyao's cheeks burned. She could not hold back any longer. Fan Ji, I feel much better now. Yi Fan smiled. Really? Already? Mu Xingyao nodded quickly. Yes, Fan Ji. Beside her, Lu Rumeng, face crimson, echoed her. Fan Ji, I feel much better too. Seeing how worn out the two girls looked, Yi Fan decided it was enough. He gave each of them a light pat on the hip. Very well. We'll stop here for now. The moment his hands drew away, Mu Xingyao and Lu Rumeng hurried out of his embrace. In good spirits after teasing the two school beauties, Yi Fan returned to the table and took out the newly crafted compound crossbow from his backpack. Item: compound crossbow durability, 200/200's quality, red effects, 1, supports single, fire or rapid, fire mode. 20, bolt internal magazine, single, fire mode, higher accuracy, longer range, greater stopping power, slower rate of fire, 2 to 3 bolts per minute. 3, rapid fire mode, lower accuracy, shorter effective range, reduced stopping power, high rate of fire, can discharge all 20 bolts in quick succession. Reading the description, Yi Fan's eyes widened. Wow, this crossbow even has a rapid fire mode. That would be devastating in group fights. He examined the crossbow carefully. It resembled a modern military compound crossbow. Matte black and deep gun, metal gray, rifle, style streamlined frame with sharp angular lines and heavy mechanical styling. The crossbow measured roughly 80 centimeters long and 40 centimeters wide, compact and light in his hands. A scope was mounted atop the riser, ideal for long-range targeting. He ran his fingers over its frame, growing fonder of the weapon by the second. Eager to test its power, he knocked a bolt and switched to single, fire mode, aiming toward the small wooden cabin. Sighting in, he squeezed the trigger. Whoosh! The bolt shot forward. Crack! It slammed hard into the cabin's outer wall. The momentum did not stop there. The bolt punched clean through the wood, leaving a dark, ragged hole. Yi Fan hurried into the cabin. The bolt was embedded halfway into the inner far wall. Uncontainable excitement spread across his face. Holy hell! This red, quality crossbow is no joke. Its stopping power rivaled small-caliber pistols. Yi Fan pulled the bolt free and stepped back outside. He wanted to test the rapid fire setting. Moments later, a flurry of impacts rang out. Thud, 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 thud. All 20 bolts were discharged. He noticed that rapid fire reduced each bolt's effectiveness. Though they still pierced the outer wall, their kinetic energy faded once inside the cabin, and all the bolts dropped onto the floor. Even so, nearly every player in this world wore no armor at all. Against unprotected targets, the rapid-fire compound crossbow was more than lethal enough. By noon, Yi Fan had practiced extensively and mastered the crossbow's functions. His marksmanship had improved noticeably since he first picked it up. He turned toward Mu Xingyao and Lu Rumeng, who were busy opening crates. Xingyao, Rumeng, it's midday. Leave the rest of the crates for this afternoon. Take a break. I'll store all the looted supplies, then I'll teach you how to cook. Mu Xingyao and Lu Rumeng nodded. Understood, Fan Ji. Yi Fan began stowing the newly opened supplies into his game backpack. Instead of resting, the two girls helped him gather everything. They finished quickly. Yi Fan then led the two school beauties to prepare lunch. First, he demonstrated simple cooking steps, then let Mu Xingyao and Lu Rumeng take over. Yi Fan had expected plenty of clumsy mistakes, yet both girls handled the task surprisingly well. Clearly, they had paid close attention. Before long, several home-style dishes were ready under his guidance. Their presentation paled beside Yi Fan's cooking, but both girls glowed with pride. The three sat down to eat. As soon as Yi Fan said, "Let's eat," Mu Xingyao and Lu Rumeng rushed to place portions of their own cooking onto his bowl. "Fan Ji, try what I made." "Fan Ji, please taste mine too." Seeing their hopeful, nervous expressions, Yi Fan ate the food without hesitation. After 2 bites, he found that though the dishes looked passable, their flavor was barely edible. Still, he gave no sign of displeasure and praised them warmly. Not bad. The taste is fine." Encouraged, Mu Xingyao and Lu Rumeng took bites of their own food. 2 mouthfuls in, they both spat the food out. "Ugh, this is far too salty, and mine has barely any flavor at all." They looked toward Yi Fan, cheeks burning with embarrassment. To their surprise, Yi Fan kept eating calmly. Mu Xingyao could not help asking, "Fan Ji, don't you think our cooking tastes terrible?" Lu Rumeng added, "Yes, Fan Ji, it's nowhere near as good as yours." Yi Fan set down his chopsticks and smiled. Xingyao, Rumeng, Nobody gets cooking perfect on the first try. You need lots of practice to make good food. What you've managed today already exceeds my expectations. The flavor may be rough, but at least everything is fully cooked. Relief and gratitude showed on Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming's faces. Fan Ji, you're so kind. Yi Fan went on. So you two need to keep working hard. I hope you'll be able to cook really well soon. Spurred by his encouragement, Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming felt determined to master cooking and prove themselves to him. They finished lunch soon afterward. At that exact moment, a cold mechanical voice echoed in every player's mind across the entire game zone. Ding! Attention, all players. The new player adaptation period will officially end at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. The sea survival game will enter its official phase. All players are advised to stockpile resources and upgrade your vessel's level to face upcoming challenges. The announcement made every player stop what they were doing. The regional chat channel exploded. French, Fry Little Bun Captain. Damn, the adaptation period is ending already? It doesn't feel like any time has passed at all. Angler never returns empty-handed Captain. We entered the survival game 2 days ago. It was about time. Little Glutinous Rice Ball Captain. Wah? My raft hasn't even upgraded to a medium-sized wooden raft yet. How are we supposed to survive once the game enters its official phase tomorrow morning? Holds fate in hands Captain at Little Glutinous Rice Ball. What on earth has your crew been doing? How have you not even gotten a medium-sized raft? Little Glutinous Rice Ball Captain at Holding the Winds and Clouds. Wah. Our crew is all female, but on our very first night, one crew member accidentally fell overboard and drowned. So everyone is terrified and refuses to go retrieve supply crates. Don't pick on me after class, Captain at Little Glutinous Rice Ball. Heh. Then you can all wait for your doom. Haha. The newbie adaptation period is almost over. My broadsword has been itching for action. Invincible Overlord Captain at everyone. Any captains interested in teaming up for the bounty mission on Yi Fan? Hit me up via private chat if you are. Crotch Spring Guy crew member at Invincible Overlord. Man, aren't you being a little too blatant about this? Word has it Zhao Tianming and his sports department goons are no pushovers. Invincible Overlord Captain at Crotch Spring Guy. Why be scared? Fortune favors the bold. The timid get nothing. Zhao Tianming and his crew are barely over 100 people in total. Are we players supposed to be intimidated by them? Don't hesitate, or others will beat us to it. As the newbie adaptation period drew near its end, every player's mindset began to shift. Chaos was about to unfold across every competition zone. After hearing the game announcement, Yi Fan immediately thought of Shenjia. Ever since this beautiful teacher had traded with him and been marked by the system as a qualified goddess, Yi Fan had set his sights on her. Though Shenjia had rejected his recruitment back then, he still had real-time coordinates for her position. That was thanks to a trader aboard her raft who had reached out to him. Originally, Yi Fan had planned to set sail for Shenjia's location early the next morning. But the end of the newbie adaptation period had come sooner than expected. To avoid unnecessary risk, Yi Fan resolved to set off right away. Opening the game interface, he located the trader in his friends list and sent a private message. Yi Fan Captain, where are you right now? Send me your coordinates. It was not long before a reply arrived. Charming little sprite crew member. Yi Fan, could you spare some more food and fresh water for me? Frowning at the message, Yi Fan wrote back. Yi Fan Captain, Teacherly, I already gave you the food and water I promised you this morning. Another reply quickly came through. Charming little sprite crew member. Yi Fan, I'm starving. What you gave me was nowhere near enough. You have more supplies than you could possibly need. Have some mercy on me. These past 2 days I've gone through so much stress and mental anguish working for you. Give me 50 bags of bread, 50 tins of luncheon meat, and 50 bottles of mineral water, and I will send you Shenjia's coordinates right now. Seeing this outrageous demand, Yi Fan grew highly alert. Something was definitely off. Only yesterday, charming little sprite had been grateful and quick to send over Shenjia's coordinates whenever he asked. Now she was suddenly changing the terms. Was she not afraid he would expose her betrayal to Shenjia, or even post a bounty on her in the public chat channel? Yet she dared to make such exorbitant demands. Yi Fan surmised two possibilities. Either sheer desperation from hunger had made her reckless, or she had gained some new source of confidence that made her fearless of him. He decided to draw her out further. Yi Fan Captain, Teacherly, let's get one thing straight. You contacted me first. I kept my end of the bargain every single day. What is this sudden price hike? Charming little sprite crew member. Yi Fan, you are the top player in our zone. I saw the bounty you put on Zhao Tianming and his group last night. You are rolling in resources. What I'm asking for is nothing to you. Getting Shenjia is more than worth this small cost. Send me the supplies, and I will send you the coordinates at once. Yifan Captain, you know I put a bounty on Zhao Tianming's lot. Aren't you worried I could put one on you right here in the channel? Charming little sprite crew member. Heh, don't try to scare me, Yifan. I frighten easily. Reading that reply, Yifan was certain charming little sprite had obtained some form of backing. He thought for a moment and sent a probing message. Yifan Captain, 20 bags of bread, 20 tins of luncheon meat, 20 bottles of mineral water. That is my final offer. Take it, or the deal is off. The reply came quickly. Charming little sprite crew member. Fine, Yifan, it's a deal. Send over the supplies, and I'll forward the coordinates straight away. This ready acceptance caught Yifan off guard. He had anticipated haggling. A bad premonition crept over him. He kept pressing. Yifan Captain, don't get ahead of yourself. Send me your current coordinates first. Then I will send 10 bags of bread, 10 tins of luncheon meat, and 10 bottles of mineral water. You will only receive the rest if you send me updated coordinates every hour until nightfall. You must also send another update before 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Only then will you get the remaining supplies. Do not try any tricks, or you will regret it. I can forward our entire conversation log to Xinjia. Think how she will treat you once she knows. Charming little sprite crew member. All right, Yifan. I will cooperate fully and give you genuine coordinates, no deception. My current coordinates are XXX.XXX. Come and get your chance to reach the beauty. From her response, Yifan was almost convinced a trap awaited him. A cold smirk crossed his face. Dare to scheme against me? 20 bags of bread, 20 tins of luncheon meat, and 20 bottles of mineral water. Greed will be your downfall. Very well. Let me see exactly what trick you intend to play. He immediately sent a trade request to charming little sprite. Meanwhile, across another stretch of ocean in the competition zone, Li Yume's face lit up with joy the moment she received the traded supplies from Yifan. Beside her, Su Jingyam messaged her privately. Calm as breeze crew member. Did Yifan send over the food and water? Charming little sprite crew member. Ha, Director Su. Just as you predicted. That boy really sent supplies over. Calm as breeze crew member. Naturally. You forget how long I have worked as a university director. I have far more experience than that kid. Manipulating him is trivial. How much food and water did he send? Charming little sprite crew member. Only 5 bags of bread, 5 tins of luncheon meat, 5 bottles of mineral water. Calm as breeze crew member. That's all? Li Yume, you wouldn't hold some back for yourself, would you? Charming little sprite crew member. How dare I do such a thing? Director Su. Yifan refused to give any more, or he would cancel the whole deal. If he abandons this plan, everything we have worked for falls apart. Calm as breeze crew member. Very well. Our main objective comes first. We are lucky to squeeze even this much extra from him. I will contact Zhao Tianming right away and tell his group to set out. Also, once Xinjia and Lu Shujuan fall asleep tonight, give me half of these supplies. The crew member who had betrayed Xinjia and reached out to Yifan was none other than Li Yume. Ever since the first day in the survival game, Lu Shujuan had berated and threatened her for being lazy. Li Yume had borne a grudge against him, and also against Xinjia for failing to speak up for her. In Li Yume's eyes, Xinjia would never cast Lu Shujuan off the raft. He was their main supplier of supply crates. Given Lu Shujuan's attitude toward her, she expected a miserable future, possibly even being cast adrift. She decided to strike first to eliminate Lu Shujuan. When Xinjia traded with Yifan, Li Yume took a chance and messaged Yifan to gauge his interest in Xinjia. If Yifan wanted her, she would sell Xinjia out and lure Yifan to their location once the newbie adaptation period ended. Lu Shujuan, who was deeply loyal to Xinjia, would inevitably clash with Yifan. She would gain food and water while using Yifan to get rid of Lu Shujuan, a perfect plan in her mind. Events unfolded better than she hoped. Yifan was indeed interested in Xinjia and readily agreed to her terms. She nearly laughed out loud upon receiving Yifan's traded supplies. Trouble struck in the middle of that night. Li Yume dared not consume the supplies openly in front of the others. She waited until deep night when the other 3 on the raft appeared asleep before sneaking out the bread. She had barely taken a couple of bites when a faint voice sounded behind her. Teacher Li, where did you get that bread? I don't recall Lu Shujuan giving us any. The voice hit Li Yume like thunder, terrifying her. She spun around and saw Su Jingye's face. She had never anticipated that his older age made him a light sleeper, often waking in the night. The faint sounds of her eating had roused him. He watched her and the bread with a knowing look. Li Yume knew she was caught. She quickly covered his mouth and gestured for him to talk through the in-game chat. Trapped by her secret, and mindful that Su Jingye had been her superior back at Imperial Capital University, Li Yume told him everything. Instead of reporting her, Su Jingye proposed joining her scheme in exchange for half of all supplies she obtained from Yi Fan. His reasoning was simple. He was in nearly the same vulnerable position aboard the raft. Though inwardly furious at the old man, Li Yueme had no choice but to accept. Matters grew even more complicated the following afternoon. Zhao Tianming and his followers had stirred up sentiment against Yi Fan in the regional chat channel. Before entering the survival game, Zhao Tianming had been a wealthy, influential student who had frequently interacted with director Su Jingye. Su Jingye knew full well Zhao Tianming's power and the size of his following. Observing Zhao Tianming's moves, Su Jingye recognized his great ambition. He saw his opportunity. Zhao Tianming wanted to take down Yi Fan to seize his supplies and secrets, yet lacked Yi Fan's coordinates. Su Jingye, however, had access to information that would draw Yi Fan straight to them after the end of the newbie adaptation period. He could trade this intelligence to Zhao Tianming on conditions: admission into the Imperial Capital University Alliance, and a large share of supplies. He was confident Zhao Tianming would accept. Su Jingye wasted no time messaging Zhao Tianming, and the two quickly reached an understanding. Just as Su Jingye began dreaming of the good times ahead, Yi Fan appeared in the regional chat. He easily overpowered Zhao Tianming in the public argument and issued bounties against Zhao Tianming and his followers. Su Jingye panicked and considered calling off their arrangement. Shortly afterward, however, Zhao Tianming messaged him, insisting he honor their deal. Su Jingye wanted nothing more than to step away from the dangerous plot, but Zhao Tianming offered greater incentives: a tenth of all of Yi Fan's supplies if their ambush succeeded, plus a senior position in the alliance guaranteeing unlimited food and water. Alongside the rewards came threats. If Su Jingye backed out, Zhao Tianming and his men would hunt him down and kill him. Su Jingye knew Zhao Tianming was capable of carrying out such threats. Tempted and intimidated, Su Jingye sided with Zhao Tianming. Time moved forward to the recent past. When Yi Fan messaged Li Yueme demanding coordinates, Su Jingye conceived another scheme. Now fully committed to Zhao Tianming's plan, he would use this moment to squeeze even more supplies out of Yi Fan. He instructed Li Yueme to make outrageous demands. Bound together by their shared secret, Li Yueme obeyed, which led to the earlier exchange. Once Li Yueme received the traded goods, Su Jingye opened his chat with Zhao Tianming and composed a new message to send. Elsewhere in the zone, a cluster of wooden rafts gathered tightly together. At least 20 rafts floated in the area, loosely encircling one large raft, Zhao Tianming's vessel. Lu Haiba hurried over to Zhao Tianming, brimming with excitement. Ming, Ji, I have tallied everyone who has arrived. Nearly all our sports department allies are here, barring a handful. 18 rafts, 72 people in total. Several more rafts carry students from other departments of our university. They say they supported you in the regional chat and were named in Yi Fan's bounty for speaking against him. Hearing you plan to hunt Yi Fan, they want to join our campaign for revenge. Once Yi Fan is dealt with, they hope to join the Imperial Capital University Alliance and follow your lead. Should we let them join us? Zhao Tianming exited the game interface upon hearing Lu Haiba's report, showing no joy over the new arrivals. Before Yi Fan had posted bounties on them, he would have gladly accepted new supporters. Now, however, he could not rule out the possibility of spies or informants secretly working for Yi Fan among the newcomers. Noticing Zhao Tianming's concern, Su Zhihao offered advice. Ming, Ji, these people claim they insulted Yi Fan in public chat. We could verify each of their messages and admit only those who can prove it, and send the rest away. Zhao Tianming frowned, did not reply, and turned toward Liang Wenba. What do you think, Wenba? Liang Wenba adjusted his glasses and thought briefly before answering. Ming, Ji, my suggestion is to accept them for now. During the newbie adaptation period, rafts cannot attack one another. Even if spies are among them, we cannot do anything to them. They could trail us and send our coordinates regardless of whether we let them join. Thorough verification of every person is impractical. Yi Fan publicly promised to cancel bounties against anyone who captures one of us. These new arrivals are therefore more dangerous than ordinary players. Better to bring them into our group and have our own men keep close watch over them. Their numbers are small, and we have enough of our own people to suppress any trouble. What do you think, Mingji? Zhao Tianming considered Liang Wenba's reasoning and nodded. That makes sense. Haiba, go tell our men privately to carry out Wenba's plan. Understood, Mingji. I'm on my way. Lu Haiba hurried off the raft. Liang Wenba spoke up again. Ming, Ji, have we heard anything new from our source who can track Yi Fan? A smile finally appeared on Zhao Tianming's face. I was just about to tell you. I got a private message from him. Yi Fan has set sail toward their location. Liang Wenbo lit up with excitement. Ming, Ji, we must move immediately. Let us depart right away. We should arrive by early tomorrow, set up our ambush, and seize Yi Fan the instant the newbie adaptation period ends. Zhao Tianming nodded. I understand. Then he walked to the bow of the ship. Upon seeing him, the physical education students around immediately swarmed over. Zhao Tianming cleared his throat and spoke loudly to everyone present. Greetings, brothers. First of all, I, Zhao Tianming, want to say thank you to every one of you here. Thank you for traveling such a long way to stand by me at this critical moment. With those words, Zhao Tianming, who had always been arrogant and overbearing, bowed deeply to all the people around him. Seeing this humble gesture from Zhao Tianming, the surrounding men immediately began to shower him with flattery. Don't say that, Brother Ming. Back at Imperial Capital University, we received so much of your favor. How could we abandon you in times like this? You're absolutely right, Old Su. Brother Ming, we've always followed you. Now more than ever, we should stand united around you. Exactly. That scoundrel Yi Fan even put a bounty on you and all of us. What is he even thinking? Does he really think this trick can divide us and break our group apart? Not a chance. Watching the crowd burn with righteous indignation, a look of deep gratitude appeared on Zhao Tianming's face. Yet in his heart, he felt far from reassured. He knew full well what these people were really like. Back at Imperial Capital University, over 90% of them stuck by him only because he was a wealthy heir with power and influence. He could count his true, trusted friends on one hand. Now they had rushed over so readily mostly because they were all targeted by Yi Fan's bounty. They were all in the same boat. If they split up now, they would be picked off one by other players. For their own survival, they had no choice but to gather around him. If Yi Fan lifted the bounties on everyone else and only kept the bounty on Zhao Tianming himself, more than half of these people would flee on the spot. Those who stayed would not be out of loyalty. Instead, they would harbor malicious intentions, hoping to capture him alive and turn him over to Yi Fan for the reward. Only a small number had come because of the huge promises he had made to them. With these thoughts in mind, Zhao Tianming waved his hand. The crowd instantly fell silent. Zhao Tianming went on speaking. Brothers, I have just obtained Yi Fan's exact coordinates. We set off right now and aim to arrive tomorrow morning. Once the novice adaptation period ends, we will take down that scoundrel Yi Fan. As I promised you before, once we capture Yi Fan, all his supplies will be divided among you. I, Zhao Tianming, will not take a single share. And I have a big surprise for you. I'm sure you've all heard of Shun Jia, Teacher Shun, back at Imperial Capital University. She will show up tomorrow. We will capture her. She will be awarded to the fleet that makes the greatest contribution in tomorrow's operation. Zhao Tianming's words sent a wave of shock through the surrounding players. Shun Jia was a well-known figure throughout Imperial Capital University, famous among all the male students. Nearly every young man had imagined gaining her special attention. Now Zhao Tianming said he would capture her and offer her as a prize. The men present grew wildly excited and cheered for him. Brother Ming is mighty. Brother Ming is awesome. We will fight for you, Brother Ming. Watching the cheering crowd, Zhao Tianming's heart ached. The first time he saw Shun Jia at Imperial Capital University, he had been utterly dazzled by her beauty, figure, and bearing. He had immediately begun pursuing her relentlessly. But Shun Jia had no interest in the wealthy heir. This frustrated Zhao Tianming, who was used to getting whatever woman he wanted. If she had come from an ordinary family, he might have resorted to underhanded means. However, Shun Jia's parents were government officials, far from average citizens. In time, Zhao Tianming had backed off and officially given up on pursuing her. The more unattainable something was, the more it gnawed at him. Though he no longer openly chased her, his obsession with Shun Jia had grown intense. So when Su Jingye first contacted him and mentioned that their captain was Shun Jia, old desires flared up inside Zhao Tianming once more. He thought he would finally get what he had long craved. Then Yi Fan had turned the tables and put bounties on him and his followers. Zhao Tianming was now cornered. If he failed to defeat Yi Fan quickly, death awaited him. He was ready to stake everything. He laid out every chip he possessed, including the Shun Jia he had fixated on for so long. Zhao Tianming waved his arm toward the crowd and shouted, "Everyone, obey my orders. Move out now." His followers let out wild shouts and began rowing their rafts, heading excitedly toward Shun Jia's coordinates. Evening came quickly. The sun sank toward the horizon, and darkness gradually spread across the sea. Yi Fan piloted his double-deck wooden ship and finally reached the waters near Shun Jia's raft. He checked the latest coordinates sent by Li Yuanmei and saw he was still roughly over an hour away from Shun Jia's position. To stay safe and avoid alerting the target, Yi Fan decided to anchor there for the night. He planned to get up early the next morning and reach Shun Jia's raft before 8 o'clock. Yi Fan walked to the front of the ship. Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumeng had already finished opening all the wooden supply crates. Yi Fan stored all the looted supplies into his game inventory as usual, then told the two school beauties to prepare dinner. Over dinner, Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumeng kept glancing at Yi Fan, hesitating to speak. Noticing this, Yi Fan smiled. Xinyao, Rumeng, what's on your minds? Do you have something to ask me? Mu Xinyao could not hold back any longer. Brother Fan, you sailed all afternoon to get here. What are we going to do? Lu Rumeng turned toward him, equally confused. Yi Fan replied calmly. Nothing special. I'm here to find someone. Find someone, Mu Xinyao said in surprise. Brother Fan, who is it? Do we know this person? Yi Fan chuckled. You know her. You will find out tomorrow. But I can give you a small hint. She will become the third crew member on our ship. Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumeng instantly understood. Yi Fan had been posting recruitment messages in the regional chat channel looking for outstanding female crew members. The new arrival must be a stunning beauty on par with themselves. Two names popped into their heads, Bai Lingxian and Chu Xiaoxiao. Together with them, the four were known as the four great beauties of Imperial Capital University. But they were both wrong. Chu Xiaoxiao had contacted Yi Fan before yet failed to meet the system's requirements. Bai Lingxian had never reached out to him at all, and Yi Fan even wondered whether she had successfully entered the game. Upon learning another beautiful woman was about to join the crew, subtle shifts crossed the girl's expressions. Mu Xinyao remained largely unaffected. Her loyalty toward Yi Fan stood at 95 points. As his first crew member, she held a special place in his heart, so she felt little concern over the new arrival. A flicker of jealousy flashed across Lu Rumeng's face, though she quickly concealed it. Her loyalty had passed 90 points. Betrayal was out of the question. Still, her naturally calculating personality made her instinctively wary of the newcomer. She wanted all of Yi Fan's attention for herself. Yi Fan observed every change in their demeanors. He smiled and spoke. Xinyao, Rumeng, I will say this again. As long as you stay loyal and obey me, I will never treat you unfairly. I know exactly how you feel about me, and I am satisfied with your current performance. Especially you, Rumeng, you have improved greatly. The upcoming third crew member might have quite a temper. As senior members, you two will help me keep her in line. Encouraged by Yi Fan's praise, Lu Rumeng's mindset shifted. Since she could not stop him from recruiting new crew, she would accept the reality. Upon further reflection, she realized the newcomer might actually work to her advantage. Right now there were 3 people aboard, only 2 of them women, herself and Mu Xinyao. As Yi Fan's earliest female follower, Mu Xinyao outranked her in every way. It would be nearly impossible for Lu Rumeng to surpass her. For a long time to come, she would remain the lowest-ranking woman on the vessel. With a new girl joining, her status would rise. As the second woman to come aboard, any future recruits would have to respectfully address her as second sister. Among all of Yi Fan's female crew, only Mu Xinyao, the eldest sister, would rank above her. Just as Yi Fan had said, she, as the senior, would take responsibility for disciplining the new younger sister. All traces of jealousy vanished from Lu Rumeng's mind, replaced by a strong sense of superiority. Suppressing her excitement, she said to Yi Fan, Brother Fan, rest assured, if this new sister dares to disobey you, I, as her senior, will discipline her properly. She ought to know boarding this ship and following you is a great fortune she has earned in a past life. She must not be ungrateful or act out of line. Mu Xinyao heard Lu Rumeng's assertive words and nodded in agreement instead of objecting. What Rumeng says is right. Following Brother Fan truly is a blessing. Anyone who gets too big for their boots deserves firm discipline. Unlike Lu Rumeng's scheming, Mu Xinyao spoke purely out of loyalty to Yi Fan. Yi Fan was pleased with their responses. Shortly afterward, they finished dinner. While Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumeng cleared away the dishes, Yi Fan used his final system critical strike chance of the day. He gained another 400 wooden supply crates. Since night had fallen, he decided to save them for the next day, to be opened after he dealt with the matter concerning Xinjia. Once the cleanup was done, Yi Fan took the 2 girls to wash themselves and rest for the night. While Yi Fan, Mu Xinyao, and Lu Rumeng settled in for the night, Zhao Tianming's group advanced toward Xinjia's position under cover of darkness. Their rafts had no mechanical propulsion, so they relied entirely on human rowing. To reach their destination before 8 the next morning, they had to travel through the night. On Zhao Tianming's order, Groups of 4 on each raft split into 2 shifts to take turns rowing. At first, the men worked with great energy, sending their rafts speeding across the water. As hours passed, however, exhaustion set in. Late in the night, when drowsiness was heaviest, several men dozed off mid-row. One man lost his balance and fell with a loud splash into the ocean. The noise jolted his rowing partner awake. Seeing his companion vanish, he shouted in alarm. "Something's wrong. Li Jiaxuan fell overboard. Wake up, everyone. Come quick and save him." His cry roused the entire group. Chaos erupted. "What? Who fell in?" "It's Li Jiaxuan from Old Feng's raft. Hurry. Somebody jump in and rescue him." "Right. Go get him. I can't swim." "Does anyone here know how to swim?" "Neither can I." They shouted back and forth atop the rafts, yet not a single person dared dive into the dark sea. Everyone understood going into the water at night would mean risking their own lives. Besides, so much time had already passed. Li Jiaxuan was most likely gone. The incident cast a heavy shadow over everyone's spirits. Many began to silently blame Zhao Tianming for forcing them to travel so late into the night. Hearing the commotion, Zhao Tianming had Lu Haiba row his raft over to the scene. His face darkened when he saw what had happened. So many people were gathered, yet none dared attempt a rescue. Still, he could not afford to anger his followers. He needed them to charge into battle for him. Liang Wenba leaned in and whispered to him, "Brother Ming, everyone has barely rested since noon. They are worn out. I checked the shared coordinates for Shunjia. We are already fairly close. Why not let everyone rest for 1 hour first? It will calm their tempers, restore their strength, and get them ready for tomorrow's fight." Zhao Tianming thought it over and nodded. Forcing the exhausted men onward would harm morale and physical condition, putting their upcoming battle at risk. He put on a reassuring expression and addressed the crowd. "This accident with Brother Li is my fault. I failed to consider how worn out you all are. Everyone will rest for 1 hour now to recover your energy. Please hold on a little longer. We must reach our target by 8 in the morning. After that, you may rest as much as you want." Zhao Tianming's words gradually calmed the group. They lay down to rest. Weariness overwhelmed them quickly, and soon loud snores echoed across the water. Time slipped by. Light spread along the horizon, chasing away the black of night. Inside the small cabin of his ship, Yi Fan, who lay nestled beside his companions, suddenly opened his eyes as dawn broke. As the sun rose, Shen Jia and Lu Shujuan woke up. Li Yuemei and Su Jingye, who had gotten up in the middle of the night to sneak extra food, were still sound asleep. Lu Shujuan, who had spent the whole previous day searching for wooden supply crates, felt great irritation watching them. After he had scolded and threatened them a couple days before, Li Yuemei and Su Jingye behaved better in public and no longer talked back openly. Privately, however, they remained lazy. Whenever Lu Shujuan assigned work, one would claim high blood pressure and the other would plead old age and poor health. Lu Shujuan grew increasingly frustrated. Several times he messaged Shun Jiao privately, demanding that once the novice adaptation period ended, she kick these two useless mouths off the raft. He claimed he alone was enough. With his abilities, he could support Shun Jia by himself. Shun Jia always evaded the subject and never gave him a clear answer. In her eyes, Li Yuemei and Su Jingye might be useless burdens, but Lu Shujuan himself harbored dubious intentions. Since Lu Shujuan bore most of the burden of hunting for supply crates, his influence aboard the raft kept growing, sometimes exceeding even her authority as captain. His ambitions swelled, and his gazes toward her grew bolder and more improper. Shen Jia was far from naive. She knew exactly what Lu Shujuan wanted. As long as Li Yuemei and Su Jingye stayed aboard, together with her status as captain, Lu Shujuan still held himself somewhat in check. If she cast the two of them overboard, he would very likely try to force himself on her. He was confident she dared not get rid of him, and truthfully, she could not afford to. Shen Jia found herself trapped in a difficult dilemma. Just then, Lu Shujuan, seething with anger, shouted loudly at Li Yuemei and Su Jingye, who were still fast asleep. Li Yuemei, Su Jingye, damn you! What time is it already? You two lazy slobs are still in bed. Get up and start working right now. If the two of you fail to each find one wooden supply crate today, I'll ask Jia to kick you both off the raft. Li Yuemei and Su Jingye were jolted awake by Lu Shujuan's furious yelling. They exchanged a glance, then immediately shouted back at him. Lu Shujuan, what are you wailing about so early in the morning? Can't I get a little extra sleep? Damn it, Lu Shujuan. Do you think we're afraid of you? We called you Brother Jun a couple of days ago, and you really started acting like someone important. Take a good look in the mirror and see what you really are. Back at Imperial University, you used to trail behind us like a lackey. Li Yuemei and Su Jingya's unexpected retort left Lu Shujuan stunned. Just yesterday, these two burdens had acted timid and submissive in front of him, not daring to voice their anger. How had they suddenly dared to argue head-on with him overnight? He had no idea that after receiving word last night that Zhao Tianming was leading a group here and would arrive early this morning, Su Jingya and Li Yuemei had gained new confidence. With Zhao Tianming and his allies backing them, they believed Lu Shujuan was nothing more than a dying grasshopper with little time left to hop around. So when Lu Shujuan hurled insults at them now, they dropped their pretense and vented all the humiliation they had endured over the past 2 days. Li Yuemei in particular ranted furiously. Hard to believe she had once been a teacher at Imperial University. Lu Shujuan burned with rage, his face flushed bright red like a boiled lobster. He pointed at Su Jingya and Li Yuemei and threatened them loudly. You two lowlifes, just wait. The novice adaptation period ends in less than an hour, and you two will be cast off the raft. I'd like to see how you two survive out on the open sea after that. He then turned to Shen Jia, his tone threatening. Jia, you saw everything just now. On this raft, either I stay, or they stay. The choice is yours. Shen Jia's head throbbed upon hearing Lu Shujuan's ultimatum. She deeply regretted letting her soft heart get the better of her and bringing these 3 troublesome people onto her raft. Before she could speak, Li Yuemei abandoned all pretense and let out a cold laugh. Oomph, you want to kick us off the raft? Lu Shujuan, you're letting your imagination run wild. We'll see who gets cast off before long. Shen Jia, who had been listening, froze on the spot, and the enraged Lu Shujuan instantly calmed down. The two of them spoke at the same time. Li Yuemei, what exactly do you mean by that? Li Yuemei let out a snort toward Lu Shujuan. What do I mean? Precisely what it sounds like. As Shen Jia and Lu Shujuan prepared to press her further, Su Jingya, who had been watching the sea, suddenly exclaimed excitedly. Haha, they're here. Shen Jia, Lu Shujuan, and Li Yuemei all turned their gaze toward where Su Jingya was pointing. On the horizon where sea and sky met, tiny black specks emerged. The specks steadily grew larger as they drew closer. Once they neared enough, the 4 people on the raft could see that the approaching shapes were rafts carrying other players. It was Zhao Tianming and his followers, hurrying over without rest. Joy erupted across Li Yuemei's face, while Shen Jia and Lu Shujuan stared in shock. Shen Jia pointed at Su Jingya and Li Yuemei and demanded sharply. Su Jingya, Li Yuemei, explain this right now. Who are those people? What connection do you have with them? Why are they coming here? Now that Zhao Tianming and his group had arrived and victory seemed assured, Su Jingya and Li Yuemei dropped all disguises. Ha ha ha, Shen Jia, this is quite a long story. They then recounted the whole sequence of events. When Shen Jia learned that Su Jingya and Li Yuemei had first betrayed her to Yi Fan in exchange for food and fresh water, then betrayed her once more to Zhao Tianming to earn entry into the Imperial University Alliance, and that Zhao Tianming planned to use her as bait to lure Yi Fan into an ambush, her vision spun and she collapsed onto the raft. Beside her, Lu Shujuan turned pale with fright, all traces of his earlier arrogance vanishing completely. Watching the despairing Shen Jia, Li Yuemei wore a thoroughly satisfied expression. Still unsatisfied with how shaken Shen Jia was, she continued speaking. Shen Jia, to tell you the truth, you really are my lucky charm. You not only helped me get into this survival game and avoid being killed right at the start, but also let me bargain with Yi Fan and Zhao Tianming for plenty of food and favorable terms. Now you can finish what you've started. Make sure you behave well in front of Zhao Tianming later. Li Yuemei's cruel words ignited fury within Shen Jia, who was normally calm and patient. She stood abruptly, pointing straight at Li Yuemei and Su Jingya, grinding her teeth as she shouted. Li Yuemei, Su Jingya, what have I ever done to you to deserve such betrayal? Aren't you afraid of facing consequences for your actions? I was truly blind back then. How could I believe your lies and bring you 2 beasts onto my raft? She turned toward Lu Shujuan. Lu Shujuan, grab the oars. Zhao Tianming's group hasn't reached us yet. We need to escape quickly. With that, she walked to the edge of the raft and picked up an oar to push off. Yet another devastating sight awaited her. Lu Shujuan, who had constantly argued with Li Yuemei and Su Jingya and repeatedly messaged her suggesting they expel the pair, walked straight over to stand beside them. His tone was utterly obsequious. Director Su, Sister Mei, everything that happened earlier was just a misunderstanding. I spoke recklessly and offended you too. I offer my sincere apologies now. Please, considering we were all colleagues once, spare me this time. From now on, Lu Shujuan will follow your every order. If you tell me to go east, I will never head west. Xinjia felt ice run through her veins at the sight. She never imagined Lu Xiujuan would betray her so readily to save his own life, stooping to such shameless, servile behavior. Once, Lu Xiujuan had confessed his feelings to her, claiming he would protect her for the rest of his life if she agreed to be his partner. He had even said he would move into her family's home and let their children take her surname. And this was how he acted now. Li Yueme and Su Jingye grinned triumphantly at Lu Xiujuan's desperate begging. Li Yueme let out a loud laugh and jeered. Lu Xiujuan, weren't you so arrogant earlier, threatening to kick Director Su and me off the raft? Look at how pitiful you are now. We might spare you, if you meet our conditions. Kneel down, kowtow 3 times each to Director Su and me, and bark like a dog 3 times. If we're in a good mood afterward, we could put in a word for you with Zhao Tianming and convince him to overlook your offenses. Desperate to survive, Lu Xiujuan did not hesitate for a single second. He dropped to his knees without shame, kowtowing to Li Yueme and Su Jingye and barking loudly. Li Yueme, Su Jingye, and Xunjia all stared in shock. None of them expected Lu Xiujuan to debase himself so readily to stay alive. Once he finished, Lu Xiujuan seized the chance to curry favor further. Director Su, Sister Mei, I'm yours from now on. Please spare me and speak on my behalf to Zhao Tianming. Lu Xiujuan's conduct redefined Shen Jia's understanding of shamelessness. Even Li Yueme and Su Jingye privately admitted they could never sink so low. At that moment, Zhao Tianming arrived at Xunjia's raft after traveling non-stop through half the day and the whole night. As soon as he reached the area, he shouted orders to his followers. Everyone, surround that raft ahead. Instantly, more than 20 rafts of varying sizes encircled Xunjia's vessel completely. Seeing Zhao Tianming and his men arrive, Su Jingye and Li Yueme hurried to greet him. Li Yueme plastered a smile across her round, plump face and spoke first in a fawning tone. Classmate Zhao Tianming, you finally arrived. Director Su and I have been waiting anxiously. Zhao Tianming frowned at the address, classmate Zhao Tianming. Noticing his reaction, Su Jingye quickly spoke with a smile. Greetings, Alliance Leader. You must be exhausted from the journey. Realizing she had used the wrong form of address, Li Yueme rushed to correct herself. Alliance Leader, forgive my clumsy tongue. Before Li Yueme could finish speaking, Zhao Tianming cut her off. Save your pleasantries. I want to know, where is Yi Fan? Has he contacted you? Su Jingye turned to look at Li Yueme. Li Yueme grew anxious under the gaze of everyone around her. She had been too busy arguing with Xunjia and Lu Xiujuan to check her private messages. Zhao Tianming's expression darkened when he saw Li Yueme's panicked look. He had led this large group through tremendous hardship for one sole purpose, to hunt down Yi Fan. If Li Yueme's carelessness made their plan fail because Yi Fan never showed up, the outcome would be disastrous. Su Jingye snapped at Li Yueme. What are you standing there for? Check your in-game private chat right away. Reminded, Li Yueme hastily replied. You're right, Alliance Leader. I'll check immediately. While she checked her messages, Zhao Tianming turned to Lu Haibao and Su Zhihao beside him. Haibao, Zhihao, once the novice adaptation period ends, bring Xunjia over to our raft. Understood, Minggu, the 2 men replied. Zhao Tianming then raised his voice to address all his followers. Brothers, I always keep my word. You can all see Xunjia right here. I will keep her under my watch for now. Who ultimately gets to work alongside her will depend on how each of you performs later. Whichever team captures Yi Fan with their own hands will get priority to cooperate with her. Every man surrounding Zhao Tianming stared intently at Xunjia, trapped on the raft. His announcement stirred great excitement among the group, chasing away the weariness from their long voyage. Xunjia turned pale with terror upon hearing Zhao Tianming's plan. She had heard rumors about Zhao Tianming and his followers back at Imperial University. With no laws restraining anyone inside this survival game, falling into their hands would lead to a terrible fate. Xunjia steeled herself, walking to the edge of the raft and issuing a warning. Stay back, all of you. If anyone takes another step forward, I will jump off this raft into the sea. Zhao Tianming let out a dismissive laugh at her threat. Ms. Shun, stop your pointless resistance. Can't you see all my men surrounding you? The second you leap into the water, I will send people to pull you back out. I warn you, stay where you are and don't test my patience. If you push me too far, I will not hold back. Xunjia's face blanched. The courage she had summoned vanished completely, and she sank back onto the raft in despair. A name suddenly popped into her mind. Xunjia opened the game's private message interface at once and found Yi Fan in her friend list. Night Rose Captain, Yi Fan, it's Xunjia. Li Yueme, the woman who betrayed me before, has betrayed you too. She has allied with Zhao Tianming and plans to use me as bait to lure you here. Zhao Tianming has brought his followers and surrounded my raft. There are nearly 100 of them waiting for you. I know this is asking a great deal, but can you come and save me? I will agree to any terms you set if you rescue me now. She sent the distress message and began praying constantly that Yi Fan would see it and rush to her aid. As an adult, Shun Jia understood Yi Fan likely had his own motives for recruiting her as a crew member. Yet she had no other options left. Relying only on Yi Fan was far better than falling into the hands of Zhao Tianming's mob. Most importantly, within this zone, Yi Fan was probably the only person powerful enough to save her. While Shun Jia prayed, Li Yuemei finally exited the game interface. She spoke to Zhao Tianming with a mournful expression. Alliance leader, Yi Fan hasn't messaged me. He hasn't asked for the latest coordinates. Zhao Tianming's face turned stormy. His followers glared menacingly at Li Yuemei, and Su Jingye. Su Jingye realized trouble was brewing and shouted at the incompetent Li Yuemei. You fool Li Yuemei. If Yi Fan hasn't reached out to you, you can message him first. Hurry, contact Yi Fan immediately. Do whatever it takes to get his location and draw him here. Zhao Tianming spoke coldly to Su Jingye and Li Yuemei. Listen carefully. No matter what methods you use, Yi Fan must come here today. If he doesn't show up, you too will face terrible consequences. Being thrown into the sea is the least of your worries. He shifted his gaze to Lu Shujuan and Shun Jia. That applies to the two of you as well. Lu Shujuan dropped to his knees on the raft and pleaded tearfully to Zhao Tianming, insisting he had nothing to do with the scheme and begging for mercy. Su Jingye panicked, wishing he could silence Li Yuemei on the spot. Li Yuemei trembled the most, scrambling to open the private chat again and message Yi Fan. Shun Jia's expression remained unchanged, though a glimmer of satisfaction appeared in her eyes as she watched the three of them panic. Moments later, Li Yuemei turned to Zhao Tianming with a complicated look. Alliance leader, Yi Fan replied. Zhao Tianming's mood lightened instantly. Speak quickly. Where is Yi Fan? Is he coming? Li Yuemei hesitated, unsure how to answer. Su Jingye urged her urgently. The alliance leader is asking you. Speak up. Li Yuemei responded uncertainly. Alliance leader, Yi Fan said he will arrive very soon. Everyone present, including Zhao Tianming, froze in shock. At the same time, Shun Jia received the reply she had been desperately waiting for. Yi Fan Captain, Ms. Shun, remember your promise. I'm on my way. Just then, someone standing on the outer raft spotted a dark speck on the sea in the opposite direction from where Zhao Tianming's group had come. The man shouted toward Zhao Tianming. Minggu, look over there. The shout drew everyone's attention. All eyes turned toward the direction he pointed. The dark speck gradually took the shape of a vessel. As it drew closer, the outline grew clearer. Before long, a proper ship came fully into view. It was vastly different from the simple rafts everyone else stood upon. The ship cut across the waves toward them at astonishing speed. Everyone in this zone knew only one person owned a vessel like this. One name rose in all their minds. Yi Fan. Shortly afterward, the ship arrived and halted roughly 20 meters away from Zhao Tianming's group. Everyone wondered why no one stood on the deck. Then a tall, handsome young man stepped out from the stern of the ship. It was Yi Fan. Yi Fan checked the game time. Less than 5 minutes remained until 8 o'clock, when the novice adaptation period would end. He had arrived perfectly on time. He walked to the high bow, looking down at Zhao Tianming and his followers. A hint of amusement played on his face as he spoke. Yo, why have so many people gathered here? Have you all come specially to welcome me? Seeing Yi Fan standing proudly alone on the bow, everyone present was utterly shocked. Zhao Tianming was the first to recover, a wild look of joy spreading across his face. He had not expected Yi Fan to dare charge over all by himself. He immediately prepared to order his men to move in and surround Yi Fan's boat. But at that moment, Liang Wenba, standing beside him, suddenly leaned in and whispered in his ear. Brother Ming, don't act rashly. Watch out for a trap. Zhao Tianming frowned upon hearing this and asked, What do you mean? Liang Wenba hastily explained. Brother Ming, look at Yi Fan's posture. He most likely knew about our plan in advance. But instead of running away, he headed straight for us. That clearly goes against common sense. From my analysis, there are only two possibilities for him to act so boldly. Either he is genuinely fond of Shun Jia and is willing to risk his life for her, or he has come fully prepared, holding some extraordinary trump card that lets him ignore our 100 men. Judging by how calm he appears, I believe the latter is far more likely. Zhao Tianming's frown deepened, yet he sounded skeptical as he spoke. A trump card? What kind of trump card could he possibly have? I refuse to believe he can take down all my brothers in one go. Liang Wenba hurried to persuade him further. Brother Ming, we are in a survival game world now. Nothing can be judged by ordinary logic. What if he pulled some powerful weapon from the bronze supply crate obtained as a game reward? We will be at a severe disadvantage. Brother Ming, caution prevents misfortune. I think we ought to play it safe. After pondering for a moment, Zhao Tianming asked, Wenba, that makes sense, but what should we do next? Liang Wenba offered his suggestion. Brother Ming, I recommend we wait for Yi Fan to make the first move and see what hidden strength he possesses. If we find he is only bluffing, we can launch our attack afterwards. But if he truly holds an overwhelming trump card capable of overwhelming so many of us, we can send the frontline men to hold him off and buy you time to retreat. Zhao Tianming nodded immediately after hearing the plan and said with conviction, Right, that's solid advice. We'll do exactly that. His behavior is extremely abnormal. It's better to stay wary. Since Zhao Tianming had not issued an order, his subordinates stood frozen, unsure how to act, leaving the scene awkward. Just then, Yi Fan spoke up with mockery. Zhao Tianming, you went through all this trouble just to deal with me, didn't you? Now that I'm standing right here, why won't you and your lackeys make a move? Could it be that all of you are actually afraid? Zhao Tianming instantly realized Yi Fan must have learned of his plan, making him even more reluctant to strike first. However, his men burned with anger at Yi Fan's arrogant words and shouted back at him. Yi Fan, don't flatter yourself. It's Brother Ming who tracked your route and brought us here ahead of time. We've been waiting for you to walk straight into our trap. Yi Fan, Brother Ming is giving you one last chance. Once the novice adaptation period ends, I suggest you stay right where you are and surrender. Perhaps Brother Ming will take pity on you and spare your life. Listening to their ridiculous remarks, Yi Fan looked at Zhao Tianming helplessly. Zhao Tianming, are all your men this dim-witted? No surprise you're all sports students, all muscle and no brains. Just what is inside your heads anyway? These words enraged Zhao Tianming's followers even more, and they roared at Yi Fan. Yi Fan, just you wait. We'll finish you off soon. Let's see if you can still run your mouth like that later. At this moment, Zhao Tianming raised his right hand and cleared his throat. Everyone around him fell silent at once. Then Zhao Tianming spoke. Yi Fan, you really have guts. You knew we were waiting here for you, yet you still charged in alone. But let me make this clear to you, Yi Fan. No one can save you today. Do you honestly think my 100 brothers are nothing but decorations? Yi Fan let out a laugh after hearing this. Hee Zhao Tianming. To be honest, I don't take any of you useless lots seriously at all. And can you stop hiding behind these underlings of yours like a coward? If you're confident, step to the front. Why don't you and I fight first to set an example for your men? The more Yi Fan goaded him, the more hesitant Zhao Tianming became. He was now thoroughly convinced Yi Fan possessed some formidable advantage. Zhao Tianming forced himself to reply. A one-on-one fight? Have you never dealt with conflicts before? In this world, strength in numbers is what matters. I have all these men with me. I'd be a fool to agree to fight you alone. Yi Fan curled his lip. Zhao Tianming, all your talk boils down to one thing. You're scared. If none of you dare come over, then I'll come to you. The second Yi Fan finished speaking, a cold mechanical voice echoed in every player's mind. Ding! Attention, all players. The novice adaptation period of this ocean survival game has officially concluded. The game is advancing to the next phase. All players should prepare accordingly and upgrade your vessels as soon as possible. Announcing partial updates for the next phase of the game. 1. Vessel protection has been lifted. Vessels may now declare war on and attack one another. If you defeat an enemy captain or force them to surrender, you will seize their vessel, crew, and all supplies on board. 2. Captains gain the unconditional authority to expel crew members. Expelled players may either apply to join another fleet or continue the game on a basic wooden raft, but all supplies in their possession will be confiscated. 3. Higher grade supply crates will spawn on the ocean at regular intervals in completely random locations. The highest grade of supply crate available has been upgraded to black iron supply crates. Note, the higher the grade of the crate, the rarer its spawn rate. The game announcement sounded like a bugle call for battle. The moment Yi Fan heard the first rule, vessel protection lifted, he immediately launched an assault on Zhao Tianming and his followers. He stepped back roughly 10 paces and began to sprint. Then Yi Fan surged forward like a cannonball, hurtling toward the nearest wooden raft at lightning speed. A loud boom echoed as Yi Fan landed firmly on the closest raft. The tremendous impact of his landing pressed the raft sharply downward. Cracks spread across the timber, though the structure held and did not break apart. Zhao Tianming and his men had still been absorbing the game updates. staring at Yi Fan, who had suddenly appeared before them. They wore expressions of utter disbelief. A moment earlier, they thought Yi Fan was merely bluffing when he said he would move toward them. No one expected him to attack the second the novice adaptation period ended. What stunned them most was the distance between his boat and that raft, 20 meters. He had crossed it in a single leap. How could any ordinary human accomplish something like this? Almost at the same time, another cold mechanical voice sounded inside Yi Fan's head. Ding. Player. Yi Fan Captain, attention. You have boarded the vessel belonging to player. Defeat all challengers captain and cause damage to it. Do you wish to declare war on player? Defeat all challengers captain? Without hesitation, Yi Fan selected yes. Immediately afterwards, he and the 4 players on this raft all received the notification that war had been declared, enabling mutual combat. The sudden alert left the 4 men dumbfounded. Wait a minute, are you really serious? While the 4 stood stunned, 2 finely crafted long blades materialized in Yi Fan's hands. These weapons had been forged beforehand using the blue-tier weapon blueprints obtained by Mu Xinyao and Lu Roming. As soon as the blades appeared, Yi Fan charged, rushing straight for the nearest player. The player snapped out of his shock when he saw Yi Fan closing in and tried to dodge. Yet his meager physique could never compare to Yi Fan's. In the blink of an eye, Yi Fan stood right in front of him. Under the man's horrified gaze, Yi Fan swept the long blade in his right hand toward his neck. Slish! The sound of sharp steel slicing through flesh and muscle rang out for everyone to hear. A long red gash instantly appeared across the player's throat. Fresh blood sprayed out violently like water bursting from a ruptured pipe. The player clamped both hands over his wound in a desperate attempt to stem the bleeding. But his carotid artery had been fully severed, and blood could not be stopped so easily. Witnessed by all, blood continued gushing through his fingers and quickly pooled across the raft planks. Blood bubbled relentlessly out of the wound. The player turned toward his companions, stretching out a hand and trying to call for help. Help! Help! However, his windpipe had been cut along with his artery. Every time he opened his mouth, blood flooded his airway and filled his mouth. He could not utter a single coherent word. Moments later, all strength drained from his body, and he collapsed straight onto the raft. Almost immediately after the first man fell, a dull groan came from behind him. After slitting the first player's throat, Yi Fan did not linger. He lunged toward his next target. He pushed hard against the raft beneath his feet and, bolstered by his extraordinary physique, leaped lightly to face another player on the same raft. This man's attention was entirely fixed on the gruesome sight unfolding before him. He never anticipated Yi Fan would appear directly in front of him. He could only watch helplessly as Yi Fan raised his blade once more and swept it swiftly across his throat. Against blue-tier long blades, ordinary players' skin and muscle were as easy to cut as tofu at this stage of the game. The exact same scene repeated itself instantly. Yi Fan showed no pause in his movements. He rushed toward the last 2 players on the raft. 2 more dull groans followed, and those 2 men were cut down without resistance. With that, all 4 players on Zhao Tianming's forward raft had been eliminated. The entire sequence took less than 20 seconds. It was precisely because Yi Fan struck so rapidly that Zhao Tianming and the rest only fully processed what had happened after the last player hit the wood. Witnessing the brutal, gory scene, many turned deathly pale, their legs trembling uncontrollably. Several players standing close caught the scent of blood and could not hold back, vomiting on the spot. Li Yuemei, further back, let out a shrill scream. He's killed someone. Yi Fan killed a man. Before Li Yuemei could shout again, an infuriated Zhao Tianming roared and cut her off. Shut your mouth. If you keep screaming nonsense, I'll throw you overboard right now. Li Yuemei clamped her hands over her mouth at once. Terrified Zhao Tianming would make good on his threat and cast her into the sea. Zhao Tianming was seething with shock and rage. He was shocked by Yi Fan's overwhelming power and his willingness to kill without hesitation. He was furious that 4 of his men had been eliminated straight away. Then he noticed fear spreading across the faces of all his remaining followers. At that moment, Liang Wenba hurried over and leaned in to speak quietly to Zhao Tianming. Brother Ming, we cannot wait any longer. Order the brothers to attack now. If we delay further, morale will crumble completely. Zhao Tianming shouted loudly to his men. Everyone, do not be afraid. No matter how strong Yi Fan is, he is still just one man, while we number over 100. And do not forget, Yi Fan and us are mortal enemies. He will never spare any of us. Now is the time to fight for our lives. Brothers, charge. As soon as Zhao Tianming finished speaking, more voices rose up from the surrounding players. Brother Ming is right. Yi Fan is only one person. We can overwhelm him together. There is nothing to fear. Everyone, we have no way back. Yi Fan will not show mercy to any of us, so do not hold on to false hope. That's right. Today, either Yi Fan dies, or we do. Brothers, remember Brother Ming's promise. If we defeat Yi Fan, all his supplies will belong to us. For the chance to dominate this sector and live a privileged life in the future, we must take down Yi Fan at all costs. Follow me, charge. Stirred by these inflammatory shouts, the players who had been shaken and intimidated by Yi Fan regained their fighting spirit. Then a steady stream of cold mechanical alerts echoed in Yi Fan's mind. Ding. Player. Yi Fan Captain, attention. Player. Kneel and greet me. Captain has declared war on your vessel. Mutual combat between crew members is now permitted. Ding. Player. Yi Fan Captain, attention. Player. Admire my strength. Captain has declared war on your vessel. Mutual combat between crew members is now permitted. Ding. Player. Yi Fan Captain, attention. Player. I am Yanzu. Captain has declared war on your vessel. Mutual combat between crew members is now permitted. Thunderous battle cries erupted. Zhao Tianming's men grasped crude weapons and paddled their wooden rafts, closing in on Yi Fan from every direction. Careful observers would notice something strange, however. Several of the men who had been rousing the crowd deliberately slowed their paddling during the charge, falling behind the frontline fighters. Once separated from the main group, they steered straight toward Zhao Tianming's raft, which remained stationary. These were trusted confidants Zhao Tianming had planted among his followers, tasked with inciting the others to act as cannon fodder against Yi Fan. Meanwhile, watching the players rushing toward him from all sides, Yi Fan showed no trace of fear. He let out a cold chuckle. A pack of fools who will be sacrificed by Zhao Tianming without realizing it. If you insist on rushing to your deaths, I will grant your wish. Yi Fan pushed hard with his feet, sending his raft sliding backward. Using the momentum, he leaped through the air toward the nearest incoming raft. A dull thud resounded. Yi Fan landed steadily on the new raft, the force of his impact making it rock violently. The 4 players aboard lost their balance and stumbled around. Before the splashing water settled, Yi Fan advanced with twin blades raised, heading straight for the closest player. He lifted the long blade in his right hand, aiming to strike the man's head. Terrified, the player realized he could not dodge in time and raised his wooden paddle to block. But he severely underestimated the sharpness of Yi Fan's weapon and his immense strength. Crack! The wooden paddle snapped cleanly the moment steel made contact with timber. The blade did not slow, arcing onward to slash directly across the player's skull. As the blade cut down, a bloody gash split the man's face from top to bottom. His skull split open like a cracked watermelon. He did not even have time to scream before collapsing onto the raft. Blood mixed with brain matter splattered everywhere as his body fell. The other 3 players behind him froze in horror at the horrific sight. The courage they had worked so hard to regain instantly drained away. Yi Fan did not pause for a second after eliminating the first man on this raft. He flicked the blood and tissue from his blade and immediately charged toward the next closest player. A mere dozen seconds later, 3 successive screams rang out, and the 3 players became his latest victims. Right then, the cold mechanical voice of the game reached Yi Fan's ears. Ding! Congratulations on defeating player. Kneel and greet me, Captain. You have acquired all of the player's vessels, along with all supplies and crew on board. Yi Fan was surprised to spot an unusual supply crate suddenly appearing in the center of the raft. He stepped forward at once and picked it up. Loot supply crate. Automatically generated after the player kills or captures the captain of another vessel. It contains all supplies aboard the captain's ship that was killed or captured. The crate belongs to the killer and all crew members on their vessel. No other players may open it. This supply crate belongs to player Yi Fan and all crew aboard his ship. After reading the description, Yi Fan's face lit up. The game got this part right. I just wonder if supply crates like this can trigger system loot multipliers. Come to think of it, why didn't a loot supply crate spawn on that last raft? Could it be because the captain wasn't dead yet? Whatever. I'll stow this crate away and figure the rest out later. Yi Fan then stored the loot supply crate inside his game backpack. He turned his gaze toward the nearest raft nearby. Locking onto his target, Yi Fan leaped once more and appeared atop the new raft. After a brutal fight, 4 mangled corpses were left behind on the raft. As Yi Fan darted between the 24 rafts surrounding him, cutting down foes left and right, Zhao Tianming, who had been watching the battle from the rear, was utterly stunned. He watched Yi Fan rampage like a god descended to earth, slaying all the men he had regarded as his brothers, and his heart ached fiercely. These people were meant to be his foundation for dominating this region. Now they were being cut down like weeds by Yi Fan without mercy. Rage burned within Zhao Tianming, and at the same time, an unprecedented sense of dread crept over him. Seeing his men's morale on the verge of collapse, Liang Wenba hurried over to Zhao Tianming and whispered urgently, "Minggu, Yi Fan is far too fierce. Our men out front can barely hold on any longer. We need to retreat immediately." The other men on the raft, Lu Haiba, Su Jihao, and several trusted subordinates, stepped forward to urge him as well. "That's right, Minggu, we should pull back now. If we wait any longer, it'll be too late." Minggu, as the saying goes, as long as the mountain remains, there will always be firewood. If we survive today, we will get our chance to turn things around. We have to leave quickly. Hearing Liang Wenba and the others' pleas, Zhao Tianming, who had already wanted to flee, let out a bitter laugh. "I want to retreat too, but how? Yi Fan's ship is clearly fitted with some kind of propulsion device. It won't take long for him to catch up to us." Liang Wenba's eyes swiveled, and he quickly came up with a plan. "Minggu, our men up front can still hold Yi Fan off for a while. We can circle around from the side and seize Yi Fan's ship directly. If we sneak aboard and take his vessel, we can escape unscathed." At those words, Zhao Tianming and everyone around him brightened. Lu Haiba, Su Jihao, and the rest grew excited at once. "Wenba, that's a brilliant plan. Yi Fan thinks he's invincible for killing so many of our brothers. We'll strike at his foundation and steal his ship. It'll be revenge for the men who died." "Exactly. I'd wager Yi Fan's ship is stocked with plenty of supplies. That will be our resources to stage our comeback. Minggu, if we take his ship, we won't lose anything from this fight." Zhao Tianming was overjoyed and immediately issued orders. "Haiba, Jihao, row the raft and circle around from the flank. The rest of you, follow them." Just then, Lu Haiba pointed at Shenjia on another nearby raft and asked, "Minggu, should we tie up Shenjia and bring her along?" Zhao Tianming had only one thought in his mind: escape this nightmarish place as fast as possible. He had no bandwidth left to worry about Shenjia. Why would we drag her along? Do you want extra weight slowing our raft down? Forget everything else. Move out right now and seize Yi Fan's ship." Shenjia heaved a quiet sigh of relief after overhearing Zhao Tianming. Her emotions had been on a wild roller coaster these past few minutes. She had nearly fallen into total despair until she spotted Yi Fan in the distance, lighting a spark of hope inside her. Yet that hope dimmed when she realized he had come alone. Her hope reignited when she watched Yi Fan charge into the enemy formation and begin cutting down their forces. Still, she feared Zhao Tianming might grow desperate and take her hostage if he realized he could not defeat Yi Fan. Taking advantage of Zhao Tianming and his followers being distracted by the battle, Shenjia quietly moved to the edge of her raft. She planned to jump into the sea if the situation worsened, buying Yi Fan a little more time to reach her. Now, Zhao Tianming was wholly focused on capturing Yi Fan's ship and refused to carry an extra burden. Shenjia resolved to warn Yi Fan the moment Zhao Tianming and his group departed. While Shenjia breathed easy knowing she would not be taken hostage, 3 others begged Zhao Tianming to take them with him. Seeing Zhao Tianming and his loyal men preparing to flee, Li Wenmei, Su Jingye, and Lu Shujuan rushed over. They tried to leap onto Zhao Tianming's raft, shouting frantically, "League leader, wait for us. Let us board too. Please take us with you." The tide of battle was plain for all to see. It was only a matter of time before Zhao Tianming's forces crumbled completely. Li Wenmei and Su Jingye had betrayed Yi Fan before, and Lu Shujuan had switched sides at a critical moment. All 3 knew that once Yi Fan finished dealing with Zhao Tianming's men, he would come for them. Judging by the ruthless methods Yi Fan had displayed, their fate would be grim. Their only chance of survival was to stick with Zhao Tianming, board Yi Fan's ship alongside them, and escape. But Zhao Tianming was desperate to flee. He had abandoned Shenjia, who could have been used as leverage against Yi Fan. He cared even less about the 3 useless extra baggage. Zhao Tianming shot a subtle signal to his men. Lu Haiba, Su Jihao, and the others understood instantly. They stepped to the raft's edge and kicked the 3 people mid-leap, sending them tumbling backward. Splash! 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 Li Wenmei and the other 2 crashed into the ocean and began thrashing wildly in the water. Lu Haiba and the rest hurried back to their positions, gripped their oars, and rowed with all their strength toward Yi Fan's ship. Meanwhile, the battle ahead reached its conclusion. After Yi Fan eliminated the 4 men on the 6th raft, the remaining attackers lost all will to fight. staring at the blood-soaked Yi Fan, who looked like a demon, every trace of courage drained from their bodies. They scrambled backward, shouting in terror. Yi Fan isn't human. We can't beat him. Brothers, we can't hold on. Run. If we don't flee, we'll all die here today. Yi Fan was about to chase down the fleeing enemies when Shun Jia's warning rang out from behind him. Yi Fan, Zhao Tianming and his men are trying to steal your ship to escape. Everyone, including Yi Fan, looked up at the shout. Sure enough, Zhao Tianming and his group were quietly circling around toward his vessel. Yi Fan's expression remained unchanged at the sight. The men who had been fighting him, however, were furious. They were fighting and dying up front, while Zhao Tianming slipped away without a single word. Their morale hit rock bottom. They shouted curses at Zhao Tianming as they fled for their lives. Yi Fan watched Zhao Tianming's group maneuver and jumped onto the nearest empty raft. He estimated the distance between himself and Zhao Tianming's raft to be less than 30 meters. He stowed his twin blades in his backpack and pulled out the red tier compound crossbow. Zhao Tianming watched Yi Fan's ship grow closer, unable to contain his excitement. Ha ha, Yi Fan, you never saw this coming. The first tier 3 ship in this region, built with all your effort, will soon belong to me, Zhao Tianming. Being strong means nothing. Brains are what matter. Once I take this ship, no matter what secrets you hold, you will suffer a devastating loss. Zhao Tianming dreamed of boarding Yi Fan's vessel, escaping right in front of him, and rebuilding his power. Suddenly, a dark object sliced through the air beside him with a sharp whistling sound. A dull groan echoed close by. Zhao Tianming froze for a split second before turning toward the noise. Lu Haiba, who had been rowing furiously, sat rigid on the edge of the raft as if paralyzed. A black crossbow bolt jutted from his head. Zhao Tianming rushed forward to check, and a horrifying sight met his eyes. The bolt had pierced straight through Lu Haiba's skull. The sharp armor, piercing tip entered through the back of his head and burst out through his right eye socket. The bolt's tremendous force drove nearly the entire shaft through his brain, leaving a gruesome, mangled corpse. Su Zhihao and Liang Wenba hurried over to witness what had happened. The three men locked eyes, shock written all over their faces, stunned by the bolt's power and precision. They spun toward the direction the shot had come from. Less than 30 meters away, a tall figure calmly reloaded a modern compound crossbow. Zhao Tianming, Su Zhihao, and Liang Wenba were terrified out of their wits. Damn it, a crossbow. A modern compound crossbow. How does Yi Fan have such a devastating weapon? Zhao Tianming immediately yelled at Su Zhihao. Row faster. Su Zhihao strained every muscle to work his oar, but they overlooked one critical detail. Their large raft required at least 2 people rowing steadily to move forward smoothly. A single rower would only send the raft veering off course or spinning in circles. Sure enough, as Su Zhihao pulled the oar alone, the raft lost balance and began rotating on the water. Liang Wenba realized what was happening. He moved toward Lu Haiba's body to grab the second oar. The inertia from the spinning raft dragged Lu Haiba's corpse and the oar over the edge into the sea. Liang Wenba paled instantly. We're finished. Yi Fan had been aiming at Su Zhihao, but changed targets upon seeing the chaos. He redirected his crossbow toward the rower on another large raft heading for his ship. Whoosh! The black bolt streaked forward like lightning and struck the man square in the head. That raft immediately halted and started spinning aimlessly. The survivors aboard were overcome with terror. Seeing both rafts rushing his way temporarily disabled, Yi Fan stored his crossbow. He picked up an oar and steered his medium raft toward Zhao Tianming. Trapped on the spinning raft, Zhao Tianming and his men watched Yi Fan draw near, despair etched across their faces. Moments later, a loud crash echoed as Yi Fan's raft collided with Zhao Tianming's. Yi Fan set down his oar and stepped onto the enemy raft, speaking in a mocking tone. Zhao Tianming, we finally meet face to face. As soon as Yi Fan set foot on the raft, everything shifted. Su Zhihao and Liang Wenba, standing at the rear, exchanged a glance and lunged forward at the same time. Yi Fan narrowed his eyes, summoning his 2 blue, tier twin blades to his hands. He prepared to strike down these desperate stragglers. Yet something unexpected, yet entirely predictable, unfolded. Su Zhihao and Liang Wenba were not charging toward him. They lunged at Zhao Tianming instead. The sudden betrayal caught Zhao Tianming completely off guard. Before he could struggle, the 2 men tied him tight with hemp rope. They leaned in and whispered beside his ear. Minggu, we're sorry. We want to survive. Minggu, for us to stand a chance at living, you have to make this sacrifice. Zhao Tianming flew into a rage and shouted at them. Su Zhihao, Liang Wenba, How dare you betray me? Do you think Yi Fan will spare you just because? He never finished his sentence. Liang Wenbo pulled a piece of cloth from his backpack and stuffed it into Zhao Tianming's mouth, muffling him into incoherent grunts. They dragged the bound Zhao Tianming over to Yi Fan and knelt before him, looking utterly terrified. Lord Yi Fan, Zhao Tianming was foolish enough to oppose you and brought ruin upon himself. We were forced to follow him through threats and manipulation. We wish to turn over a new leaf. We beg you to spare our lives and grant us a chance to atone for our mistakes. We swear unwavering loyalty to you, Lord Yi Fan, and will help you conquer this entire region. Su Zhihao and Liang Wenbo forced Zhao Tianming to kneel alongside them. This turn of events stunned Yi Fan and everyone on the nearby raft. Quickly, the other survivors caught on and followed suit, dropping to their knees facing Yi Fan. Lord Yi Fan, spare us. We were coerced by Zhao Tianming. We never would have dared attack you otherwise. Even after you put a bounty on us, we planned to hide far away. Zhao Tianming threatened and deceived us into joining this siege. Lord Yi Fan, you saw for yourself. We stayed far back and took no part in attacking you. Please see the truth. Lord Yi Fan, spare us, and we will serve you faithfully forever. Lord Yi Fan, we are all students from Imperial University. Show us mercy. Zhao Tianming stared at his former trusted followers, who had once clung to him and now groveled for their lives before Yi Fan. Anger burned hotter than ever inside him. If not for the ropes binding him, he would have killed every last one of these traitors. Traitors stung far deeper than any enemy. Yi Fan looked down at the kneeling Su Zhihao and Liang Wenbo, a teasing smile tugging at his lips. Oh, you two swear eternal loyalty and want to help me rule this region. Liang Wenbo and Su Zhihao hastened to flatter him. Yes, Lord Yi Fan, now that Zhao Tianming is in your hands, no one in this region dares defy you. With your strength, unifying this territory will be a simple task. If you choose to forgive us, we can contact the sports department students who were terrified by you. We will convince them all to submit to you. I'm certain they will. Before Liang Wenbo could finish speaking, Yi Fan pulled out his compound crossbow and switched it to rapid fire mode. He raised the weapon and fired a single shot, striking Liang Wenbo directly in the head. At such close range, the bolt's immense power pierced clean through his skull and embedded itself into the raft behind him. Yi Fan then aimed the crossbow at Su Zhihao and pulled the trigger. A short scream burst forth before falling silent. The stunned Su Zhihao fell dead, a gaping wound in his head just like Liang Wenbo. The men on the neighboring raft screamed in horror at the sight. Some hammered their heads against the wood, begging for mercy. Others tried to leap into the sea to escape. Yi Fan gave them no chance. After dealing with Su Zhihao, he turned his crossbow toward them. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Ah. Seconds later, silence fell over the scene. Zhao Tianming, bound and kneeling on the raft, stared in shock at everything unfolding before him. The rage burning inside him had completely turned into overwhelming terror. He had never imagined Yi Fan would act so decisively and ruthlessly. Before he could finish speaking, all his treacherous core followers had been slain. It was at this moment that Zhao Tianming finally understood what kind of person he had provoked. Beyond external advantages such as weapons and formidable strength, Yi Fan's personality alone made him someone no one should provoke lightly. Decisive in battle, meticulous in thought, merciless in his methods. In this survival game world without laws to restrain anyone, a man like him thrived perfectly. Just then, Yi Fan's cold laugh reached Zhao Tianming's ears. Humph, a pack of trash. Today you chose to betray Zhao Tianming to save your own skins. Tomorrow you would betray me for something else. You want to switch sides and serve me? You are not worthy. I, Yi Fan, do not accept just anyone into my group. After that, Yi Fan opened the game's private chat channel to message Mu Xinyao and typed out a message before sending it. Yi Fan Captain, you two can come out now. Bring the boat over here. Inside the small cabin on the boat, Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumeng had been filled with anxiety and worry. Yet neither dared open the wooden door to look outside. Before leaving, Yi Fan had spoken to them with a serious expression. No matter what noises they heard or what happened outside, they must not leave the cabin. They could only emerge once they received his private message summoning them. So even as deafening sounds of fighting erupted outside, Mu Xinyao and Lu Rumeng stayed put and did not venture out. Soon after, the notification for an incoming private message chimed. Mu Xinyao opened it immediately. She quickly read Yi Fan's message and sent a swift reply. Closing the game interface, she turned to Lu Rumeng beside her. Hurry, Brother Fan is calling us outside. The two girls rushed out of the cabin at once. The moment the door opened, A faint smell of blood washed over them. When they reached the edge of the boat, they saw the once clear blue seawater stained crimson. Dozens of bodies floated on the waves or lay scattered across the rafts, no fewer than 30 in total. The sight drained all color from Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming's faces. Soon they spotted Yi Fan not far away, retrieving his crossbow bolts. Mu Xinyao turned to Lu Ruming quickly. "Wait here. I'll steer the boat over." Moments later, the boat pulled alongside the raft where Yi Fan stood. Yi Fan reached down, grabbed the trembling Zhao Tianming with one hand, tossed him onto the boat, then leaped aboard himself. Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming stared at Yi Fan, whose clothes were splattered with blood, startled by the sight. They hurried to his side and asked anxiously, "Brother Fan, there's so much blood on you. Brother Fan, are you hurt?" Yi Fan let out a chuckle, drawing the two young women into his arms. "Do I look injured to you? Relax. All of this blood belongs to other people." Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming heaved a collective sigh of relief. "Thank goodness. You scared me half to death." Zhao Tianming, who had been thrown roughly onto the deck, gaped when he saw Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming appear. He could not believe Yi Fan had gained the trust of these two outstanding young women. They were the very same people he had pursued relentlessly before, yet both had always ignored him completely. Watching Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming lean trustingly against Yi Fan, a fresh surge of anger welled up inside Zhao Tianming. Yi Fan spoke to the two women in his embrace. "Xinyao, Ruming, we have one more person to pick up." Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming stepped away from him obediently. Shortly afterward, Yi Fan steered the boat up beside Shun Jia's raft. As Yi Fan's boat approached Shun Jia, he noticed Li Yuemei, Su Jingye, and Lu Shujuan were still alive. Earlier, the three had tried to climb onto Zhao Tianming's raft to flee, only to be abandoned without hesitation. They were kicked overboard by Lu Haiba and his men. Luckily, they had fallen close to Shun Jia's raft, and it was still daylight. After struggling in the waves, all three managed to grab hold of the raft and clung on, barely keeping themselves alive. But as they attempted to pull themselves aboard, they looked up and met Shun Jia's icy gaze. Li Yuemei was the first to beg for mercy. "Jia, I was wrong. Please save us for the sake of us being former colleagues. I only sold your information to Yi Fan and Zhao Tianming because I had no other choice. It's all Lu Shujuan's fault. He only gave me tiny portions of food and water every day, never enough to fill my stomach." Hearing Li Yuemei shift all blame onto him, Lu Shujuan shouted angrily, "Damn you, Li Yuemei. Your betrayal of Jia has nothing to do with me. Don't try to dump all your mistakes on me. Do you honestly not know why your rations were so small? You never pull your weight around here. All you ever do is complain about being hungry. If Jia wasn't so kind, I would have thrown you off the raft long ago." Lu Shujuan quickly turned to Shun Jia, his tone pleading. "Jia, I swear, I knew nothing about Li Yuemei and Su Jingye plotting against you. I only joined Zhao Tianming's group because I had no choice. Jia, please spare me, considering how I cared about you before." Beside him, Su Jingye also entreated desperately. "Jia, your Uncle Su acted foolishly and made a terrible mistake. But please spare me, remembering how I looked out for you back at school. I will never do anything like this again." Staring at the three begging figures, anger churned inside Shun Jia, yet she wavered. She was torn over what to do when Yi Fan's boat drew near. "Well, if it isn't Teacher Li, Teacher Lu, and Director Su, what are you all doing soaking in the water? Aren't you afraid of sharks below?" At the sound of Yi Fan's voice, Li Yuemei, Lu Shujuan, and Su Jingye shuddered. Li Yuemei and Su Jingye were overcome with terror. They could still clearly picture Yi Fan mercilessly cutting down Zhao Tianming's followers, like a demon. As the main culprits who had betrayed Yi Fan to Zhao Tianming, they knew what cruel fate awaited them. Not wanting blood to stain his boat, Yi Fan tossed the bound Zhao Tianming onto Shun Jia's raft. He jumped onto the raft afterward, then tied the raft to his boat with hemp rope. Once finished, Yi Fan looked toward Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming. "Xinyao, Ruming, come down here. I need you two to help with something." Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming climbed onto the raft as instructed. When everyone was gathered, Yi Fan leaned over and hauled the heavily built Li Yuemei out of the seawater. His incredible strength stunned everyone watching. Li Yuemei trembled violently. "Lord Yi Fan, spare me, please spare me. It's Su Jingye. This whole mess is Su Jingye's fault. Lord Yi Fan, he is the one scheming against you and brought Zhao Tianming's group here. I never wanted to betray you. It was all his doing. Please see the truth." Still clinging to the raft in the water, Su Jingye panicked at her accusation and hurried to defend himself. "Lord Yi Fan, do not listen to Li Yuemei's lies. She is the mastermind behind everything. I was merely tricked by her." Lord Yifan, do not punish the wrong person. Yifan simply smiled coldly as he watched the two turn on each other. At this point, it no longer mattered who had first leaked information to Zhao Tianming. Onlookers watched Yifan push Li Yueme face down onto the raft. He planted one foot firmly on her back, seized her right arm, and twisted hard. A sharp crack echoed across the raft. After a split second of silence, Li Yueme let out a shrill scream, her body thrashing wildly. Her struggles were useless. Yifan's foot kept her pinned firmly in place. He released her broken right arm and grabbed her flailing left arm. Crack! Another clear sound of bone breaking rang out. Li Yueme's left arm snapped as well. The fresh wave of agony made her scream even louder. Yifan did not stop. He moved on to grab her right leg. Before long, Yifan had broken all four of Li Yueme's limbs. He tossed her aside like rubbish. Everyone except Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming shuddered in horror as they listened to her screams and watched her wriggle across the raft. Even Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming wore uncomfortable expressions. Yifan walked over to Su Jingye and smiled. Director Su, it's your turn. Terrified, Su Jingye let go of the raft and tried to swim away, but he could never outrun Yifan. Yifan grabbed him and hauled him out of the seawater. Su Jingye writhed and begged. Lord Yifan, I was wrong. I deserve punishment. Please show mercy and spare me. I will never dare cross you again. Let me off just this once. Yifan ignored every plea. He used the same method as before. Several sharp cracks sounded. Su Jingye's four limbs were broken, suffering the same fate as Li Yueme. Yifan threw him down beside her. Lu Shujuan paled when he saw Yifan walking toward him after dealing with Su Jingye. Realizing he would receive the same treatment, he pushed off the raft to create distance and swam for his life. Yifan let out a faint laugh and muttered to himself. Foolish. He pulled a compound crossbow from his game backpack and aimed at Lu Shujuan swimming frantically. Whoosh. The bolt pierced straight through Lu Shujuan's head. His body stiffened, all swimming motions ceasing. Blood and brain matter spread across the sea surface. Satisfied, Yifan stowed the crossbow back into his backpack. 3 short daggers materialized in his hands right after. He waved Mu Xinyao, Lu Ruming, and the stunned Shinjiao over. All 3 of you come here. Mu Xinyao and Lu Ruming stepped forward cautiously. What is it, Brother Fan? Brother Fan, what do you need us to do? Yifan waited until Shun Jia joined them before speaking with a solemn expression. I have 3 knives and 3 people lying before you. Each of you take 1 blade and pick a target. Then, he did not finish his sentence. Instead, he drew a finger across his throat.